Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, we're having a couple of technical issues, but we appreciate your patience. This game is still going on, and Native Black are taking the lead. It's now 10-8, but a lot of ultimates online for Chirac Gaming here. A great last round coming out from Chirac, able to stabilize a little bit more, and now both these teams do have rifles. It's getting spicy.
Spicy indeed. Whitmer making his way up mid.
What was that?
Taking a couple pot shots. Almost gets wrecked by Pizza Man himself. Whitmer into the market. Good for one. 5-4 here on the team side of things. Scar needs to get on out of there. Loses his sight momentarily, but regains it after eating a snack. Now into tree. Cash, a couple of shots through with the Phantom. Goes undetected. Frag grenade gonna be kicking him out of his home. Evicted out of that spot. 5-4 still. Native going for the plant finally onto the A side as the Hunter's Fury comes out to try and deny they will. Connecting for some more damage and finding a pick as well. Chloric good with that thing at such long range.
That's going to be extremely important here. Michael Scarden coming up on the flank as well. Might get the timing onto Houston. Able to win that one out. Now it's just 4v2. They do have to be careful of Cutler, though. Last time around, Cutler was the one who was able to clutch out the situation of 4v2 yet again. And this time, this guy has an operator as well. Okay, down to a last player. Let's see how this one goes out, but they're not able to find it, as Chirac Gaming are going to win that one out. And now they're just one away from tying it up, only investing a couple of ultimates to make that one winnable.
Yeah, Native taking a bit of a lead there, and even though they were comfortable at 5vx, they had the numbers advantage. Chloric equalizes things from across the map, and a great push out from Heaven finds another pick, quickly turning things on their head, putting Chirac into a one-round game. Of course, Chirac in this BO3 series are currently in the lead, so they are getting that much closer to just knocking Native Black out of this tournament entirely. It is a BO3 single elimination playoff series.
And let's see how this goes. It's going to be a little bit more of a broken bye coming in from Native Black, but once again, Whitmer has been the one who is going on that entry, able to pick up a couple of kills right off the bat and just make things work. Faultline coming out to try and stall things out, but it's going to be this mid presence that we've seen Native Black take time and time again, which is where they like to make their move.
Nowhere to run.
Diamond posted up in tree. Timing. God, that's so tough, man. Everyone's been in that spot where you have a great piece of util that you want to use, but the timing just does not work out in your favor. Ash gonna go down at top Heaven as Native in a 4v3 are looking pretty good and are looking for this spike plant. How does Chirac counter back though? They've got the Omen ulti and equalize things into a 3v3. They spot out one at main. The suppression's gonna hit and it's gonna connect. Where is the third member of Chirac coming from? And it looks like Michael Scarn himself posting up towards tree, being a nuisance, but still at full health and still with a dash in hand. Goes for the peek, whiffs onto Houston, and Houston comes out big.
And now it's just down to Chloric. Can he do it? Finds one, looking for the other, but Cutler shuts that one down. A huge round for Native Black to continue their domination. It's now going to be 11-9. 2 more rounds. The Native Black force out that map number 3, but Chirac Gaming, they're holding on, but it's not looking as good for them. They're going to have a bit more of a scattered buy coming into this next round. They do have the knives online, so Michael Scarn will have the Bladestorm to work around, but still, it's not the best scenario for them. We're going to be seeing a half buy coming in here because they know if they lose this round, the next round is do or die. They cannot afford to make mistakes, and they need to make sure that they have everything available for them to shut down that 13th round. Now, let's see how it goes. Bladestorm already activated by Michael Scarn.
Tone finds one out in A main with the Spectre. That's huge on a round like this where Chirac is in a bit of a deficit. Whitmer, dash activated. Is he going to opt for an aggressive push here? He does not, as Tone, kind of expecting it, whips back around, doesn't see the jet. Scarn just kind of waiting at mid with those knives like you mentioned already. Got the help of his friend Cash here, and on the push, just misses out on scoping out the Sova and Link. Whitmer taking a couple steps. Presence has been noted. Scarn ready, finds one. Ready to peek again. Cash might just counter swing as the drone comes out, gets destroyed by himself, and Cash is not spotted out, but through the wall, actually, it will be good enough. As Adrenaline finds one, he gets stunned back, and Michael Scarn once more.
And there we go. It's going to be so clean. The spike is now down into mid. The information is good as well. More going to be going out on top, but might not be able to capitalize on this. Still, They got to deal with Cutler in the backline, and Cloric loses that duel.
30 seconds left.
Beautifully done. And now Tone all by his lonesome in a 1v2. Natives still have yet to plant. Chirac GG on the other side of the map right now. They gotta still close a lot of distance here. 15 seconds left on the clock, and Cutler, great push in the CT. Found one earlier and found a second just there.
Wow, and I actually really like the way that Chirac played that defense. They were playing a lot more closer angles, trying to force them into their positioning, and weren't overextending themselves at all. It just kind of came down to a little bit of gun difference towards the end there. And looking at like cheeky angles, a great flank coming in from Cutler. I think that was one of the main reasons why they were so successful, and we're going to be seeing that tour de force coming in for this round. This is do or die. Chirac cannot afford to make a mistake, because as soon as they do that, Native Black are going to be able to take this and force out that map number 3. Chirac wanted to take this to overtime, and right off the bat, Michael Scarn shuts down that knife, which is extremely important as Whitmer goes through it, trying to get that active, but is able to dash out successfully.
It's out of harm's way. You love to see it. Whitmer, oh, hit by his own teammates Rolling Thunder and scoped out of the sky by Tone, who's keen enough to just peek at the right moment. Beautifully done there. And now slowing things down once again. Native on their back foot. They have lost one of their members. And Chirac on defense here. They just kind of gotta wait for Native to make a move. Drone comes out. Presence detected by Chirac. You saw the little ping on the map, meaning, hey, Sova's here. They're droning. But they don't know where the spike is just yet. So they're going to stay hunkered down. Play off that KJ utility on the B site. And once again, Native working their way up mid. Trying to cause some commotion, trying to destroy any KJ util that may be around here. And luckily that suppression finds no one.
Yeah, and this is huge. The KJ playing back of site is so smart, specifically just because they're able to just get... Oh, hold on, Toho is down.
Yeah, Native with great push there. Houston through tree. Scarn returns from dice. Gloric gets one, and now in a 2v2. Gloric gonna go down, caught in the slow field. Cash in a great spot to make a play here. They have no idea where he is. And a 1v1. Spike is down. 12 seconds left on the clock. Houston versus Cash. One-on-one. Spray comes through. Stops the plant. 6 seconds left on the clock. You need 4 seconds total to plant. And the plant is not going to go through. But Cash doesn't know that, does he?
Spike planted.
He does. Just in the nick of time. 0.01 seconds to their name. Cash. Houston. Houston down at 1 HP. And Cash is so good on the flank.
Yeah, oh my goodness me, that was honestly down to the wire. And see, this is the thing, when you talk about impact players on the side of Native Black, of course you do have Houston, of course you do have Cutler, but one person I want to really highlight is Whitmer. I think that Whitmer is doing such a good job at playing this entry, and the fact that they got shut down immediately made it that much easier for Chirac to claw their way back into this. And now we're going to be seeing Native Black take a little bit of a tactical timeout, because this is getting a lot closer than they probably were expecting. Good stuff coming out there, down to a 1v1. But I was going to say, I love the fact that they were playing the Killjoy back there. They know that this null command is a threat, and especially too, if they catch that Killjoy off, that it's just going to be so hard to try and defend that B site. Thankfully, they did decide, Native Black did go for that A site, which made it a lot easier for Chirac to try and retake it. Good angles being held, and honestly, it just kind of came down to a last minute play coming in from Cash in order to work that one out. Unfortunately, Houston was just looking the wrong way, and that works out perfectly for Chirac. So Chirac are still alive in it. It's 12-10. Chirac need 2 rounds to force this OT. This is their map pick, but right now Native Black are looking extremely good on it.
You'd love to see it too out of Native Black after taking that loss initially in the first map. Firing back. Still though, there is the possibility things go fundamentally awfully for them. Chirac have got a couple of weapons, not the best of buys. And what they do have going for them is that they're close to that KJ lockdown. They're close to that Hunter's Fury. Hopefully, we see a more slower and constructed round out of Chirac, be it playing a retake or what have you, to get closer to those ultimate points. Because otherwise, their buys are not making it not giving us an optimistic outlook, to say the least, on this round.
No, and they just dumped a lot of utility onto A to really sell that fake, but good resistance coming in from Chirac, just slowing things down. not over-rotating yet just yet, and Cash is going to be the key member here to slow this push. The Execute is coming in, the Swarm Grenades are going to be activated, and now Whitmer is already on site, but Adrenaline is fine Chloric.
You gotta think at some point, Chloric, that sitting in the middle of the smoke and spraying isn't gonna get you that far. A great shot from Cash to make things into the favor of Chirac as Cutler is stuck on site. Diamond's got them encapsulated in. Great couple of shots from Diamond. Chirac at a 3v1. Houston, do we have contact in a 1v3? Spike is dropped onto the lane. Things are a little out of reach for this man at the moment, or should I say for this robot, as 30 seconds are on the clock. Trying to jump peek, scope out anything. Swaps out the weapon instead of reloading. Why not? Get a little swag points too. Houston, ready for the peek, jumps up to the lane. Oh, spots one out. Has to drop back down. Is hit by the concuss. If there's a follow-up on that, he's surely dead, but time is ticking. Houston flash off that spike, and it is so tough. Diamond, once again, just in the right place at the right time. Chirac, in a 1-point game, they're about to take this to overtime.
Oh, potentially. It turns out Houston did not have contact. In fact, Houston, we have a problem. Not able to get that. The Spike was down in such a terrible position in order to get that. Still on that lane. No way that Houston was going to be able to recover that one. So, you know what? Let's see how this round plays out. This is going to be Native Black on a save. They are going to be forcing out the hero rifle for Cutler, which I think is the right call. But the rest of the team is going to just have to rely on these sheriffs. Adrenaline is going to be bringing in a Spectre to try and get something, but it's not going to be looking great. Whitmer, though, able to get the knives as the Hunter's Fury comes out early.
You know, I'm not a fan of this early Hunter's Fury here because, yeah, it's super perspective. You don't hit anything, and now Chirac are cognizant of that fact. They're 1 point away from having that lockdown. If they're able to set that up on the post plant, Chirac nearly have guaranteed themselves in overtime after Adrenaline uses that Hunter's Fury that early into the round. So we're going to have to see how this one plays out. I am worried, though, for Native's play after that move. 1 minute left on the clock, and it looks like Native are trying to regroup outside this A site and want to take the Fury to Chirac.
And Cutler coming up on the flank. Could find something here, but Michael Scarn doing a really good job of holding things close just around this Omen smoke. The knife is in hand, ready to go from Houston. But still, they're just biding their time before they execute.
Chirac waiting so patiently. You love to see it. Great couple of shots from Michael Scarn down in the hell. And now returned on to the scale of 2-2. Scarn good for 3. Gonna get taken out and is returned on once again. But here we go in this situation exactly where you've got Adrenaline down at 30 HP. Here comes both the Sova and the KJ. So much util from Chirac as the lockdown makes its way on over to the tree side. The door is down. He's going to be safe to try and activate it here, but he doesn't have it just yet. Needs to play for one more point here as Chloric through the floor finds one, and the Hunter's Fury coming out from heaven doesn't connect, doesn't reveal anything either, and Cutler in a 1v2 to keep his team in this tournament. Can he do it? Cutler from heaven finds one in a 1v1 around Jenny. Ash taking so much space, comes around the right side of Jenny, baiting out Cutler, tapping out the spike, and Cash with the headshot. We're going to overtime, ladies.
Oh, and gentlemen, too. Oh my goodness me. Wow. Wow, Cash coming up huge once again. Cash is good with it when it comes to these 1v1 scenarios, down to the wire. Oh, let's see that on the replay. Michael Scarn from the back, just such a good cross here, but Culture and Adrenaline really made that one possible for the rest of the team. Cutler just doing such a good job, but unfortunately just falls a little bit short as Cash is able to win that one out. And now we are into overtime. So it's going to be the first team that can win 2 in a row. They're going to be swapping back and forth consistently, and this is going to start out with Chirac on the attack.
Yeah. This is scary, man. Oh, I really thought for Native, too. I'm not 100% not a fan of that Hunter's Fury to start things off. Like, I totally understand where they're coming from, but of course, that's in the past. Or 12-12, we're locked in. Chirac want to end this series. They are 2 rounds away from taking this victory over Native and sending them into the nether. Native, on their tournament life, they've got to win this overtime if they want to take it to map 3. So there's a lot riding on the line. And if there's anything we've heard about OT Warriors, about performing with a fire lit under your butt, this is the time to make something happen.
Absolutely, and I'm curious to see whether or not Chirac want to just take that aggressive offense that they've been doing in the start. They immediately put pressure on A and rotate out here, but Whitmer is on this side, and I think that's going to be the biggest problem if they do decide to engage onto this B site here, Jim.
Adrenaline still holding on to that Odin. You know, we do talk about the cardboard map. But after a while, I think, you know, the gimmicks can only take you so far. However, it is a monster to deal with, especially if you take that Odin over to the A side, right? Shooting it to hell, you can just clear so much of that space. Native slowing it down so much, though. Once again, 40 seconds left on the clock. Kind of ensuring a B push here. And if Chirac have any info, they can kind of double down on this. There's really not that much time to make something happen. And now the push has begun, and so the rotates are coming out from Chirac, pushing through mid, trying to get aggressive, and instead opting to go through market as Tone opens things up into a 4v5. Cutler returns, and Adrenaline finds another. Chirac looking for a good entry here. Chlor get a great spot in wood. He's getting trampled all over. People pay for that sometimes, but here we go. Chirac now Diamond in a 1v2, stuck on site, going for the plant, but Morg is good, securing round number 13 for Native.
What a cluster of a round. All right, that's good. Native Black on match point once again. They're going to be on this attack, and they looked pretty darn good on it, too. So, let's see how Chirac want to respond to that. But, you know, you talked about Adrenaline with that Odin, and honestly, even though it didn't secure the kills, I think it did more than enough. It took them so low. Multiple members of their team got pinged up, and as a result, it was just an easy body shot coming out from a Vandal or a Phantom to seal the deal, secure the kill. So great stuff coming out from Native Black thus far. Let's see if they can continue this one forwards immediately, though. Chloric gets a couple of pings on the Whitmer.
Taking some space out mid. Nothing too crazy just yet. Native, I just like what they do initially to start these rounds off, right? And try to draw out some util, draw out some sort of information. Currently, they're working with Jack. They got nothing. Adrenaline, sending out the drone. Check your corners, check your corners, check your corners. Doesn't spot out Skarn in the corner just yet, but they are keen to the fact someone might be there, and a great hill and a dash into the wall. Skarn still manages to live as a Native rotate on back towards the A site, directly into the setup of Cash.
Here we go, Tonho has that paranoia in hand, just playing off the turret, is able to find Morg first.
Returns Native onto the site. Cash backing on up. This spot has been so good for them, but you can't peek out that early. You're going to get clapped, and that's exactly what happens. 3-3 Native. 13-12 on their tournament round right here. Can they make it happen? Will Chirac tie it back up and try to knock them out of this bracket? Skarn now through tree. Good for one. Great headshot. Cutler returns. 2-on-2. Chloric good from the top rope. 4-1. And there it is. We're tied all back up 13-13. We're going around 27 marks.
Ooh, who doesn't love a good old double overtime? Great stuff coming in from Chirac there. They played that pretty darn well on that retake. Like you said, unfortunately, Cash might have overextended just a little bit there. Peeked out at the wrong timing. Got caught by two of the members. And you know that Cutler's going to be good at that long-range duel. So, a great showcase there. But as soon as Cutler went down, you know that the post-plant was going to be a lot easier for Chirac to just dominate the rest of that defense. Now, here we go again. Back at it, Native Black on this defense, Chirac on the offense. I'm wondering at what point do these teams try to switch up their strategies, because I don't know, they're going blow for blow, so they have to try something new. But at the same time, you risk this new strategy not necessarily working out. And, you know, I don't know if that's a well-warranted risk. Immediately, Whitmer takes an aggressive angle, though, and gets pinged up as a result.
Ooh, almost gets wrecked on the way out. That dash was a little all over the place, but you got out. That's what's important. And so Houston now in a familiar spot. He's got this tree locked down. Skarn and co. Just dancing around these openings, trying to get any semblance of information. And of course, what they're doing here is jiggle peeking, trying to get some info. And of course, as soon as they get it, they're able to dash back into safety with their little toes. And now Morg is spotted out by the drone, is able to take it out. Doesn't get pinged by it, so that's not awful. We'll go back to Generator, and it's a great spot to play if the push does come out to the A site, though. With 45 seconds left on the clock, it almost seems like Chirac are considering going somewhere else.
I'm not sure about this because it honestly just looks like Native Black are confused as to what could be happening here, and especially too with the Killjoy utility coming down, they're getting that information,
30 seconds
and you
left.
can tell that the Silva's running around because he's not too sure which side he should be going on, potentially just going to hold down mid, but this is a really good smoke coming in order to slow the momentum down. Houston is going to get smoked out themselves, that Morg gets flashed out, and this is going to be the entry.
Yeah, off that smoke, Morg, Houston, and Adrenaline get into positions. Tone finds one, looking for more in hell, but Morg is good for 2. And now in 1v4, Cash finds one, goes for the spike plant, but Whitmer is able to find his head off the side of Jenny. Native take the lead once again.
Here we go, 14 to 13. Native just have to secure this offense, and as soon as they can do this, then they force out that map number 3. Let's see how this works out. Thus far, they've been struggling a little bit to kind of get in on any of these sites, and honestly, the retakes from, sorry, not Chloric, but from Chirac have been pretty darn good. So let's see how this one goes. This time around, Chloric once again back with the Odin. This has been such a thorn in Native Black's side. Just being able to spray through not only just the walls, but also in from heaven. And the Killjoy has swapped around to the other side. So it's an early fault line with Michael Scarden getting aggressive.
Heading on back, activating the switch. You can always destroy it too, but I think they're wary of a potential mid pizza push. Whitmer trying to take some space here. Ooh, yeah, this is tough. They could be on both sides, and great move from Whitmer to just get on out of there because the variables were far up too many. There was too many variables overall. And they're managing to stay alive. Ultimately, great move. A minute left on the clock, and it's still 5-on-5.
Yeah, and I like that they're going for this A site. Cutler has been so good on this A site in playing these post-plant positions, but they're going to have to make sure that they're able to actually keep Cutler alive, and I think that's going to be the biggest issue here, because Tono is lurking in basement, in hell, sorry, and they're using the fragment to flush him out and are successful in doing so. This is a clean execute coming in from Native Black.
Yeah, really well done. Just great utility usage now in the 3v5. Things are tough for Chirac, and we may be going to a game 3. Native have all members of their team still alive, hanging out on this post-plant situation. Chloric spamming hell, not going to connect on anything. Recon needs to get shot because otherwise Chloric will die. Diamond pushing out heaven, trying to connect onto main. Gets a little distracted by his own teammate's drone as Cutler from Catwalk, the flank of the flank, is always good. And Whitmer and co for a flawless round 15. Native Black take game 2.
Oh boy, here we go. So this is going to force out map number 3, which is going to be Breeze, but great stuff coming out of Native Black there. Despite the fact that it was going so back and forth. And once again, this is Chirac's map pick. So they beat each other on each other's map picks. What more can you ask for an exciting first match to start things off here? Both of these teams are going to be playing for survival, as we do get queued up for our next map, which is going to be Breeze. But Jim, you know, if you're playing a lot of games for a really long time, sometimes the chair that you're sitting in is pretty important, wouldn't you say?
I would say so, and wouldn't you know that, you know, that experience alone can set apart your entire gaming illusion. So why don't you go ahead and experience a Mavix gaming chair, right? They're the exclusive chair partner of Nerd Street Gamers and local host. So all of the Mavix gaming chairs actually feature the Future 9 functions of critical ergonomics to support gamers everywhere. Get yours today for as little as $22.22 a month, and make sure you use code NSG55 to save $55. Shop now at mavix.com/nerdstreetgamers. Yeah, go check it out. Lumbar support's important. Spine health is important. Sitting can be dangerous for long periods of time, so make sure you stand up, dance around a little bit, and take breaks in your gaming journey. But a lot of great stuff so far. We are through game 2. Marks stark difference between game 1, 13-5 in the first one, 15-13 for Native Black in the second.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely different, but let's see how all of this is going to be wrapping up. We've got map number 3 ready to go, but first, we're going to be throwing to a quick break, so don't go anywhere. As soon as we get back, that's going to be Breeze coming at you alive. Which one of these teams are going to be advancing? Well, you'll just have to find out. We'll see you in a bit. back, everybody, to the Nerd Street Chicago Valorant LAN for Summer Champs. We've got a pretty exciting game on our hands right now. We've got two teams going up against each other in the round of 16. It's Native Black up against Chirac GG. We just came off of a heated second map, which was Chirac Gaming's choice, but unfortunately Native Black were able to win that one out, forcing out map number 3, which is going to be Breeze. But crazy stuff that we saw there, right, Jim?
Yeah, overall, there were so many moments where I thought it could have gone either way, and that was the beauty of that map. The first one, not so much. Chirac took it 13-5 in a dominant showing on Native's map pick. And then on Chirac's map pick, Native took it all the way to them, 15-13. So while it may have taken Native just a moment to get going, going is where they have gone. And Cutler, man, that 3K headshot with the headhunter from top mid was just beautiful.
And you can see this Cutler just so consistent with the tour de force, with an operator in hand or that headhunter. Great plays coming out from both of these teams. Both of the Jet players making absolutely good use of the abilities in order to just run it through and get these positionings. But Cash honestly clutched things up multiple times, but I'm nervous as we go into our next map, which is going to be Breeze, because each of these players, honestly, their aim is pretty darn good, especially on an open map like Breeze, you know, with a player like Cutler on the team. This is a map where Cutler could probably thrive.
I'd say the same, man. Breeze is a beautiful map, not only because it gives you a glimpse of what Valorant players need to do most, and that is touch grass, but it's beautiful, it's long open ranges, and that's why agents like Jet, like Chamber, like Viper thrive on these for sure, right? If you can create your own geometry with Viper and then set someone up with a proper op or a headhunter like Cutler, you're going to be in a good spot. But of course, both these teams have quite unique playstyles in the sense that from Chirac, we're seeing a really scrappy squad come out. Michael Scarn leading the way and just absolutely setting a blistering pace on that Jet, which was then met halfway, if not all the way, by Whitmer. We saw him returning with a lot of great aggression as well and playing that X Factor role so well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. These Jets have been just kind of flying in, and especially too with an agent like Jet, you know, you want to have that clean entry, and you know that both Whitmer as well as Michael Scarn are doing a great job kind of paving the path for their team. But yeah, like you said, talking about Breeze, having control of the map is going to be extremely important, especially on these long open sight lines. That's why we do see agents like Viper, like Omen. You got to smoke things off appropriately in order to shut down some of these snipers' potentials. And once again, if you just had to ask me on a peer-to-peer who can aim better and click faster, I got to give the upper hand to Native Black. I really do think that Cutler is just absolutely stellar with it. But at the same time, Houston as well has proven to be a really good fragger as just in some of these longer range areas. Of course, when we talk about Whitmer, it's a lot more in your face action that we do see. We saw some beautiful knife plays coming out from this Jet as well, which could be potentially possible to see on Breeze. But generally speaking, Whitmer thrives when it's a lot more close quarters combat. Get up into your face, spray you down, or just kind of whip around, get you distracted, and then have the rest of the team follow in. So regardless, this is going to be a pretty darn spicy match in my opinion, because, you know, these teams are facing elimination. Whoever loses this map number 3 is going to be sent home, while the next one is going to be able to advance into the quarterfinals. So things are going to be pretty interesting here, but I'm excited to see which agents that these two teams decide to bring out.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. It's game time. 15-13, you know, we went into, I don't know how many overtimes that is, well, like triple overtime on that last map. You said it, though. Anybody that loses here, you're out of the entire tournament. And so that's why you saw Native fighting back so damn hard against Chirac to stay in, win that second map, in one of the closest sets, the longest OTs we've had in this series so far. Now on to Breeze. Like you mentioned, it really just comes down to the composition. We might see the standard, which is, you know, generally like a Jet, Chamber, Viper, and then like a Sova and one other thing on top of that. But there are still opportunities and options for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, even though Fade is into the mix, I don't expect us to see a Fade necessarily. What I am curious to see is what type of initiators these teams are bringing in. Do you go for that KO? Do you try to get a little bit more information? Yeah, honestly, it's going to be up to the individual team compositions. But yeah, once again, we're getting a nice showcase of the lovely floor in Chicago. Fortunately, the two of us can't be there to hang out with all the people there, but yeah, just look at the number of people that are just kind of hanging around here. You know that even as we're just kind of getting started in the day, as these matches continue, it's going to get more and more heated. And once again, just being able to play beside your team members makes such a good difference for, honestly, your morale, you know?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Morale, mental fortitude, these are the largest components when it comes to gaming, especially in best of threes, right? Esports at the end of the day is an endurance sport, and if you can train that endurance, your brain, the muscle, the tissue matter to just be resilient, then you can come out on top. And resilience is what we saw out of that squad here. You know, Cutler and Co. That sounds like a cutlery company. Cutler and Co. just finding such huge moments in that 28 round slobber knocker. Now we're heading into map 3 onto Ascent. Onto Breeze rather. We've got the agent selections locking in. So let's see what's going on for both these teams. Looking pretty standard across the board. Nothing too out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be too surprised if we just did get that mirror composition. Houston is going to be going for the Sky as opposed to the KO, which honestly, I kind of understand this because KO's utility, especially that 0-point knife, you can toss it in there and get a little bit of value, but the problem with Breeze is some of these sight lines are so long and the sights are honestly really big themselves that you don't get as much value as you can. You really hope that you can potentially catch out a Viper, and that's going to be a really good time, but beyond that, that 0-point doesn't have the most amount of value compared to a map like Ascent, where you know there's going to be a Killjoy, a Cypher, and people are going to be generally grouped up. So curious to see how this different works, but Sky really good at getting information for your team and really good at giving you a spot to potentially enter in on. And so I think that the Sky gives that utility.
Absolutely, and I think, like you said, like KO's util is good, but Breeze is a huge map, and you can do a lot of sidestepping. Whereas on the side of Sky, if you're aiming that bird correctly, those lines of sight where you're going to be able to get detection on those hawks is large. And so information gathering, really the name of the game here. And so they're going to be running Sova plus that KO plus that Sky. So they're going to have tons of info for both sides of these teams. Let's see what Native Black opens up with Cash, Headhunter in hand, watching elbow. This is always a great spot just to catch any unmetered aggression from the defending team as Michael Scarn tries to open things up in the middle, and Cash is spotted out at the window.
Ooh, Cash trading a couple of bullets with Morg, but Morg is able to escape there. This defense was just so far forwards, and now the Viper's down. I think that's a really big misplay because that's just going to allow Chirac to just have an easy time to push onto whatever site they want. The Viper wall isn't even set up for the defenders, so regardless though, Cutler might be the one to be able to stop this push.
Exactly, like you mentioned, Native realize that they group up as 5 and they start putting the Viper wall down and using their utility to get on into the site. There is no enemy Viper wall, so they're just kind of hanging out. It really does come down to Cutler and his positioning, though. He is currently in water with the classic in hand. Adrenaline's able to find one, and Cutler's still hiding away as the plant does go down onto the site. In a 4v4, Cash has taken some space through hallway, and he's gonna open that door up. Cutler is still alive on the site and making his presence known, and he returns with a headshot with the Headhunter to the top of the staircase. Now in a 2v2, quickly made into a 2v0 as Whitmer and Adrenaline close in on the spike for 2 quick ones.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it seemed like there was a little bit of a miscommunication as to who wanted to get the spike down. Chirac really took their time getting the people in place, and honestly the spike was almost down and then it got canceled at the last second, not due to the shock dart or anything, but just because they really did want Tonho to be able to get that spike and get the ultimate orb, which, to be fair, I think that's a really important ultimate. The Viper's Pit is extremely good at shutting down a lot of these long sight lines, and based on how they're playing things right now, I think Native Black have the utility to potentially play around a Viper's Pit. Specifically, if Chirac do throw it down, they've got utility to scout it out and potentially isolate some kills for free, thanks to the Sova, in addition to the Sky. The Sky Trailblazer can get the idea on where some of those players are, and then you can shut it down. But Cutler, in a great position, punishes Michael Scarn.
Good stuff. Obviously, Michael Scarn is naked, no armor, takes 101 damage, and goes down. Cutler with a repeat here. Good for 2. Great crossfire from Cutler and Whitmer, who is on the B site, anchoring with the Viper. Now Tone. Classic in hand. You know, we've seen some awful things happen to people with the Classic. I'm sure we've all been on the receiving end of awful things with the Classic, so I'm always scared of that gun. Gotta respect it a little bit. But this 3-man push, it's been detected. Now, they don't necessarily know that there's 3 people. They know that there's at least 1. Cutler from Nest might just be the info gatherer here. Finds 1, finds a 2nd, 4 on the round. He's not expecting a 3rd, though, and with the no-scope, that's an ace for Cutler.
See, Cutler, we said this was going to be someone you want to be watching out for on Breeze, and once again, just validating us. Thank you, Cutler. We appreciate that. Making what we talk about important. But once again, Cutler, just an absolute stud with long-ranged weaponry, specifically this Marshall. Definitely able to pop off. But now imagine if this was, excuse me, an operator. Of course, it does take a little bit of longer time to reload there, but yeah, that Marshall is so deadly. Just peeking around those corners, doing it at such a good pace. Now, this is going to be Chirac being able to buy up weapons this time, but Native Black looking pretty comfortable thus far.
Putting the ball down. Spike has been, the ultimate orb has been gathered. Diamond sending the drone out backside. Doesn't spot out anything. Good flash through, and he's not going to find anything in bricks. Connects with a couple of headshots, but it's not enough. Houston had a problem. Want to buy around, though. Cash, good with the flank here.
I was just about to say, able to take out Whitmer on the back. That could have been deadly here, but still going at it. Flash grenade out.
Clean.
Great shot there. 2v4. Chloric holding on, and they're not giving Native much to work with. And of course, as I say that, Cutler opens it up. From the top of the staircase, Adrenaline around the corner. He needs to clear bricks, and it's just such a tight angle that on the swing, Tone's able to peek out of cave, find 1, and now Cutler, close range. Not going to work out. Chloric putting a round on the board for Chirac.
And this is the very typical execute that we see on Breeze time and time again. Toss up the Viper's wall, just kind of run it in, get the information, clear out the back, and life is going to be pretty darn good. A very clean execute coming in from Chirac. And yeah, the post-plant positioning, it was looking a little shaky for a second. Native Black were able to find a little bit of footing, but once again, that was just their bonus round. So they're not too sad about that one. As a matter of fact, Cutler now has an operator in his hands. This is going to be a round to watch out for because, you know, finds a couple of picks here and there, could be absolutely massive, but Cash is in the back, could potentially catch Cutler off guard if they're just looking the wrong way at the wrong time.
Cash, this is his de facto spot, so he needs to be, he needs to be anxious about peeking window, because you can bet some money that Morg has some sort of read on this, and so Cash playing it extra cautiously here. That's the way to do it, not making a single noise. Now Michael Scarn on the push here. This is great. Cash is like, hey, bet money. Morg is probably somewhere close. You guys walk on over this way. We can try and catch something out. If they can clear their angles, and Cash is able to communicate this properly, that, hey, you need to check your angles coming out of this corner, then things might be good. But Morg's able to find one, and Cash returns quick. Ultimately, not that bad. 4-on-4, and the push comes out onto the B side as Cutler opens it up once again with a great op shot from half wall.
That's going to be important. That's the Viper down, which is going to make this a lot easier for the defense to navigate around. Adrenaline coming up with 2, and suddenly it's a 1v3 situation for Diamond.
30 seconds left.
Double shocks in hands. He's got the spike as well, but no recon. Util finds one headshot, wants the second, and he sees the vision. There's a world where that lines up for Diamond, but it's not this one, as Native Black pick up a 3rd round.
But here we go. They're starting to get their steamroll going. This is going to be Chirac on a little bit of a save this time. Cutler's still able to get that operator thanks to a couple of his team members being able to pick it up. And honestly, once again, such a huge pick on that entry. Cutler got traded out, but was able to take Tone Ho down. And as a result, it just makes the spike plant so much more painful. You don't have the Viper's utility to hide behind anymore. You just kind of have to go in and hope for the best. This time they're going to be changing it up, going for an A-site execute. But they're going to be met with Whitmer and Cutler. This could be tough.
waiting for the shot push. He's got a great angle, but of course he needs to be the person to also watch that deep mid doors. It's a weird cluster of angles. Oh man, and things are getting spicy here. Finds one and is able to get out just in the nick of time. Whitmer, great push they never expected as Cash returns, but now Native on defense got the numbers and they're just big chilling.
And Clark does have this spike here. It only has a Marshall in hand. Toneho is getting a lot of space as well, but only has a Spectre. Houston covering the angle. This is going to be tough. The guiding light is going to give away info.
Houston knows there's a couple mids, so he needs to keep his head on a swivel. Recon spots out 2 in cave. That's going to actually give Adrenaline the confidence to push up onto the staircase. Morg also watching with Cutler, finding 2 quick ones in the cave, and Cutler now realizes he's being pinned down by that chamber operator. Might take the high ground here, and a wide swing from Cutler. Beautifully done. Changes the elevation, changes the game, and comes out on top.
Hey, let's take a look at this scoreboard real fast to see how many kills Cutler has thus far. We've completed 5 rounds, but like, look at this operator play. Not afraid to just get up and use this operator, consistently just repeaking angles and always being the first one to click. Yeah, Cutler has 11 kills. The next highest in the lobby is 5. Both Adrenaline and Cash have that, but Cutler has just been thriving thus far on this map. And I think the scoreline definitely supports that as well. It's 4-1 currently. And Chirac have a hard time pushing in if Cutler is on the site. And thankfully, they also have this Viper utility to stall things down. It's an early Hunter's Fury to get some information from Adrenaline.
Yeah, it connects as Adrenaline finds some damage down, but ultimately not a kill. This is good, though, because you're playing a 5v5 retake. Chloric, though, with a pop flash through the Viper wall, able to find one and dips right behind it again. Adrenaline taking a page out of Food's book, but Diamond eventually connects onto Cutler in a 3v5. Native in a tough spot on this retake, especially with this Viper wall down on the field here.
Oh, but Whitmer comes up big but gets traded.
Diamond at the half wall. And Cash at tunnel. Cash has got a huge flank here on the half wall player who has no idea what's going to happen. Adrenaline going down. And that is a second round for Chirac.
Yeah, that's crazy that the Hunter Fury is actually able to catch Cutler there. Because I think that without that long-range sniper support, you could just tell that Native Black were just a little bit more cautious about moving in. Now, Chirac do have the Viper's Pit online. They might be just going for a very fast execute here. Try to get it to happen. And Diamond, not going to have a... Okay, there we go. Has a rifle in hand now. This could be pretty dangerous. Meanwhile, Whitmer does have the Bladestorm. Going to be using it. But if this Viper's Pit comes out, the Bladestorm immediately loses a lot of value. Unfortunately, the Blades not very good inside the big green goo. So let's see how this interaction plays itself off. Immediately, Cash is taking a bit of a forward hold. Might get caught out by Whitmer or Cutler.
Put me in the goo. Houston using the dog. Spots out a ton of them on the entry. Whitmer not good. Mid-air whiffs all of those. Unlucky. Connects with maybe 1 or 2. But Cash opens things up as Michael Scarn finds another on a great angle outside of that poison wall. Returned on by Adrenaline quickly. And now Native have to try and retake through the Viper's Pit as Diamond, watching the corner, finds one. Beautifully done. Tone finds the second. Great stuff. And now in a 3v1 in the Viper's Pit, Adrenaline has his work cut out for him. He does have a drone in hand, but the shot won't connect as Diamond comes out on top. Chirac closing it to a 1-round game.
Yeah, and that's the thing about the Viper's Pit. As soon as it went up, it was looking pretty darn good for them. Native Black is now going to be taking a timeout. Maybe reset their thinking a bit, slow the pace of the game down, figure out, you know, what can we do here? How do we change this up? Because it definitely seems like Chirac are starting to gain their momentum. Originally, Cutler was the one who was going to be carrying this forwards, but lo and behold, not going to be the case anymore. Cutler has been being shut down round and round again. And as soon as that happens, you can just tell the confidence coming out from Chirac. They're not afraid to move in there and get it going. I love the Viper's utility coming out here. Obviously, Viper is such a staple on Breeze as well, but the players, you can just tell from Chirac, are very comfortable playing around that utility. If that Viper gets taken out on the offense, they have a hard time engaging onto one of these sites and getting that spike down. So keeping the Viper alive is definitely going to be a win condition for Chirac, and they have to make sure that they're playing around it to support it.
Yeah, really just working together as a team and finding these rounds scrappy, but great plans overall. You know, Chirac got the Viper's Pit down. They had Skarn play a little aggressive, find the pick that he wanted, get a little bit more information so that the rest of the team could play comfortably in that Viper's Pit, and that's exactly what they did. Found that third round for themselves, and as we head into round 8, Chirac are looking to tie things up. They're coming into this with a really healthy economy, great buys across the board, and Native kind of broke boys, you know, at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Now Morgan, a great position. Does have this judge. Could come up massive, but the null command is going to spot that. Oh boy, it's a massacre at the front.
Yeah, that wall really is an indicator that, hey, Viper's probably playing pretty close, and so the drone on top of it gives them the secure location, and the judge finds absolutely nothing as Native are starting to get pushed back on this site, but Chirac instead are opting to take it slow. They have snuck Michael Skarn, however, into bricks.
I'm not sure that's necessarily good, because now they are more or less sold on trying to engage here. Native Whitmer already just moving out onto the flank. Tonho could have the timing here. He's gonna have to whip around quick. Oh, goes in there, and Whitmer actually wins that one out. So now they're a little bit more wary of the flank, but still they haven't engaged onto the site. Chirac really taking their time.
It's really awkward there because Chirac got Skarn into a good spot, and almost if they rotate off and draw out the push from A main from Native, they can have Skarn potentially pick up one, but instead they lose one on the flank in a 4v4. In moments of hesitation, they are on the site. They have the spike plant down, and now the full retake. Diamond in a great spot finds one. Shock dart going out top bridge, not going to connect. Spots out one more, still hiding around orange. Houston going to go down as Cloric is there for Diamond when he needs it most, and now Adrenaline top staircase. Marshall in hand, dodges the flash, spins around just to watch his teammate get his head blown off, and Diamond puts his friend next to his friend on the board and ties up 4-4, man. This is great.
Yeah, we're going blow for blow here. Seems like Chirac were able to stabilize that 3 rounds in a row. Absolutely massive from them, and now Native, they're feeling a little bit more scared. They haven't quite figured out how they want to play this defense, and even though Chirac were in a really awkward position that last round, they were able to pull it out regardless. Just had to wait on a couple of cooldowns to refresh and have the utility to be able to confidently make their way onto site, and it all worked out perfectly. Now, here we go. Morg immediately popping the Viper's Pit, but this is Native Black going onto this B site, completely uncontested. Cutler on the top ground has to rendezvous out to escape the 0 point.
Quickly onto the B site. Houston, great from the back, stays alive, but Tone, Diamond, and Cash find 3 across the board. Tone, good for a second onto the back of site, and Morgan now stuck in a 1v4 as Chirac really turned it up this round, and I don't think Native were ready for that kind of play.
No, they definitely weren't, and we talk about these Hunter's Fury coming out a little bit earlier, but that's the reason why they come out pretty early. You want to hope that they're able to find something, find some information, or potentially a pick, and that'll just open up the site, because then suddenly Chirac Native Black have to dance around it and try and find an opening, but it's just not going to happen, and as a result, it's just a very clean play coming in from Chirac. They take a lot of damage, but keep their people alive, and obviously that's a little bit more important. So Chirac now solidify their 4th round in a row as Native Black are forced onto a save. They don't have that Tour de Force online at all. They don't have the Blade Storm. They don't have any ultimates. Things are going to be kind of tough this round for Native Black.
They're going to have to take a moment and reconsider what's going on, because of course they are on an eco now, and Chirac are they're hedge fund children at this point. They have so much money just lying around. Chirac, they can almost, if they wanted to, they could slow it down entirely and play the long game, but that's not what they're going to do, and that's not what they're comfortable with, as Michael Skarn is already on the site and looking for some heads to pop.
Yeah, and Cutler's just going to have to back out of there. There's really no option in order to make this one work. Yeah, 5v5 on this retake. Very fast execute coming in. Houston on the flank might be able to catch somebody off guard, especially with Adrenaline for the alley-oop. Let's see if Cloric is able to spot this one out, though. Tonho also watching window as well. Finds first point contact, but gets taken out.
Oh, great couple of shots from Cloric. Tries to reposition and reset that spray onto Adrenaline, but it's not going to work out. Now in a 2v3, Native spread across half wall and A main. They've gotten a great couple of picks on this eco, so if they can find one more, that'd be awesome. But Adrenaline, happy with his couple of kills. Chirac pick up 6, and Native finally will be able to purchase as we head on into round number 11.
All right, here we go. 2 more rounds in this half. Chirac looking pretty dominant there. Obviously, that was a little bit of an eco round, but, you know, this is a really hard time for Native Black to be able to stop the push. They don't really have the utility to really do that. They have to rely on Morg. But the couple of times that Morg has gone onto one site, it seems like Chirac just want to go onto the others. And I don't think that is necessarily on purpose. It just happens to work out that way, but it works out perfectly. We can see it happening again. They're going to have free entry, just have to get through Cutler. But Cutler does have an operator. That could be the difference maker here, Jim.
Close range with the operator too, catches him on the dash, and the headshot is good down onto Michael Scarn. That's exactly what you want to see, and there's no way in hell that Michael Scarn was expecting that close range op. Hubby is always a great spot that you want to check, but of course it's dangerous when you've got a one-shot weapon like the operator hanging about. Now Diamond taking a great choice here to rotate through spawn instead, because otherwise things would have gotten deadly, and now doubles back through, and Houston with the read is through it as well as Native on top in this round. Looking for some more as Morg on the flank is good too.
Lorik, excellent angle to behold. Pop flashes out, looking for Morg. Oh, not able to find it.
Woo! Cash, good at the back, finds 2 in a row, in a 1v2, in a 1v1. Cash, and of course Morg here is really low on HP. Cash needs to peek it. In the smoke, Morg is just going for the stick. Cash is good on the spray though, and is able to find 4 on the round to put Chirac at 7-4 and around. That Native really should have won.
Yeah, 100% they should have won that, but this is an excellent opportunity coming in from Chirac. Now they've got the lead. They're looking to solidify it just a little bit more. We're going to get a quick little replay there. Look at that. Cutler not afraid to just take those angles, but Morg really made a difference. Chloric, though, once again coming up absolutely massive. We've seen Chloric clutch out rounds before and was able to just get a little bit of a spray, slow down the momentum, enabling Cash to just frag out in the back. And honestly, just isolate those 1v1s and you're going to have a decent time, especially too if you're on the back foot. So it's going to be 4v7, but Houston has already found Michael Scarn.
Not even sure how that one happened. It looked like a quick flash out mid doors, upping the ante once again and taking the pace to them. Chloric, though, better at the shot and better on the first one for Cutler. In an uncharacteristic miss for Cutler himself, Whitmer equalizes things. Bladestorm active and ready. Tries to hit it on the dash. Great couple of shots down onto Tonho. Morg finds one more as well, and now in a 1v2, he's in the poison, and the walls are closing in from all sides as Native pick up round number 5, and we are headed to a halftime. With that, Marks, what do you got to say before we head to a quick break here?
Excellent stuff coming out from Native Black. Good adaptation there. Didn't even need to use the Viper's Pit at the end, but still, good stuff coming in. Isolate those kills and win them. But yeah, like you said, now going to a quick break before we return for the second half of this map.
Welcome back, all. We've got the Nerd Street Valorant Monthly Chicago LAN. We are on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are in the halftime, entering the second half here of Game 3 between Chirac GG, who is currently in the lead at 7-5 over Native Black. In the first game, we saw Chirac 13-5 Native Black, and in the second, Native won 15-13 in triple overtime. And here we are onto Game 3 now, 7-5, Chirac in the lead, and Chirac currently on the defense as Native open things up, but Chirac claps back with 2 back-to-back.
And this is looking pretty good, but at the same time, Chirac are so low. 2 of their players barely staying alive. Couldn't be good. Houston in a great position. Oh, all right, able to shut one down, and Cash falls next.
Greatly done for Native. They haven't even planted the spike yet. They're just kind of holding on. Tone gets completely blinded by that Hawk, and all the members of Native are really low. Tone got some health to work with here, but Coulter taking off his head, and a great body shot onto Chloric to bring them to 6-7 in a 1-round game.
Yeah, I was about to say, Cutler really took over the first half of the first quarter, and it just kind of fell a little bit more silent towards the later half. But this time around, you know, it's these early pistol rounds where things are a little bit easier. You're just kind of relying on utility a little bit more, and Breeze is a map where those long-range plays become even more important. So a good pistol round coming out of this team, and just like that, it's looking like Native Black might have a good chance here. Of course, Chirac were the ones who were able to win out the pistol round the first time around. Or sorry, no, I believe it was Native Black. So, see, history repeats itself, or are they going to fall a little bit further behind as Chirac want to continue their lead?
Chirac. Cash, good for 1, good for 2. Ooh,
Oh boy.
Whitmer uncrouching at the most unopportune moment and right into Cash's headshot there. Man, Adrenaline now pushing through doors. Chirac posted up. They just have to wait for the push here, so they're doing a good job of staying unreachable as Chloric with a great no-scope at close range comes out on top in that fight in a 4v2 now. Chirac, big chilling. Adrenaline trying to get onto the site, finds the headshot onto Michael Scarn. And Morg equalizing things up just like that, 2v2.
Oh man, this has honestly been such a good round for Chirac. Despite the fact that they were on a save, it made such a difference. They were looking like they were able to sweep up the rounds, but thankfully because of these longer range sight lines, then yeah, you know who's gonna win out those fights. But still, 2 members left. Don't know, making first contact against Adrenaline.
Scary. Adrenaline and Tone. Or Adrenaline and Co, rather, going around the left side, trying to get the double peek down on Cash, but Cash and Tone, good for 2 more. Picks up the deagle, finds a headshot with that, and puts Chirac at 8 rounds. That was a big one for Chirac to win.
Oh, absolutely. And on top of that, too, they're able to pick up a Bulldog as well as a Vandal. They got a Vandal from that, despite the fact that they were on a hard save. Not looking too good for them thus far, but you know what? Native Black, they're not out of this just quite yet. We're going to be seeing the full buy up coming in from Chirac. Meanwhile, Native Black going to be sticking to the Marshals. Hopefully trying to find something. Whitmer is going to be buying up a hero rifle, but this is going to be a key round. If they lose this, it's not going to be very good for their economy going into this next round unless they get that Blade Storm or that Tour de Force online. But that's going to be extremely hard. None of those 2 players are close to their ultimates.
Lots of good stuff for Chirac. 8-6, leading by 2. On the side of Native, we're seeing a lot of Marshals. This map is exceptionally good for Marshals, though, because if you and your friend are able to spot out one person and hit a shot each, that is an easy kill. And those things have a pretty quick rate of fire, honestly, for the amount of damage that they do. Chloric, though, takes a bit of damage himself, but not before getting the kill down onto that Sky. Cash waiting, Diamond in a great spot to catch that aggression, and Michael Scarn returns as well. Adrenaline spotting out the head, but no connection as Morg finds 1 down onto the B site, trying to make his way up to Nest. Diamond, oh my god, losing his head too.
Morg might have just won this Oh, never mind. Okay. It's just up to Adrenaline in the backline there. I thought if Morg could pick up at least one more kill, then that would have allowed for a safe entry onto that B site and get the plant down. But yeah, I spoke a little bit too soon there, but still not terrible for Native Black. They made those marshals really work for them and capitalize on a couple of kills. They should be able to buy up their rifles, but it's going to be a little bit painful. They're really going to stretch it. They're going to have to force it to make it work. And we do see this being reflected. Cutler is coming in with an operator. Whitmer, though, only on a Guardian. Half shields for almost everybody. It's not an ideal scenario. That also probably means that they're not going to have all of their utility online, but they could just force Morg in onto site and set up that Viper's Pit. Or they could be saving that just in case they are forced onto a save round. They could opt to just place Spectres and shotguns in there because that always works out really well in a Viper's Pit.
Timing on that KO nade was perfect. Of course, the timing that you want is, oh my gosh, Cloric with a collat there. Beautifully done. Finds the headshot through Houston's body, and it's just being a menace on this site. If you're playing the initiator, this is who you want to be. Pop flash in hand, ready to rock, but he's not expecting the left side Cutler. As Cutler tries to swing back out, Michael Scarn returns, and now stuck in a 1v5 pretty much. Morg just wants to secure this one kill at least. Here comes the res. Morg with a push. Finds
no
one,
way.
but cash returns.
Yeah, that's okay. Cloric falls down too, but still, this is fine for Chirac. They've got enough money, and they kept that operator alive, and that's what's more important. Native Black are struggling to even enter in onto the site, and I really want to give the credit to Cloric for these past couple of rounds. You know, obviously fragging out heavy, but also too using the utility from this KO to stall things out. The fragment is so well placed in the front, it just completely denies entry, and then uses the 0 point to deny any rendezvous, deny any exits, and it's just a massacre for Native Black. They can't get out in time, they can't use their utility to do so, and now they've only got Sheriffs going into this next round. Chirac are feeling pretty confident about themselves.
You want to play? Let's play.
Viper's Pit going down onto the A site. Morg making his way on. However, the spike is still towards B, and Cutler's kind of aware of it. He hasn't moved from his spot just yet. And of course, with this three-man push from Chirac going down mid, Cutler good for one on the back. Cash finds another, returns, and the chamber's really just echoing thunder strikes across the map. Spike's still not planted, and 55 seconds left on the clock. It's ticking away.
Yeah, but look at this. They're rotating over to this A site. They've got the Viper's Pit to play around. And so I think they just wanted to enable their options, eventually get that onto B. And honestly, it made Chirac really question themselves, be like, where the heck are they going? So I think that all things kind of worked out. And as a result, the Spike is going to go down. Plenty of time to get this down still. So this is looking like a pretty good round from Native Black right now.
Diamond with this quiet push into the smoke. He's not
No
spotted
way.
out by the recon, and he gets the shot through the smoke for the headshot. He's gonna give away his location, though. They know he's close range. Can Morg get the push out of the smoke, or is he just good for the shot there? That's exactly what you wanted. Gets rid of the Viper's Pit entirely. Cutler good for 2, good for 4 on the round, and Chirac go for the plant as he's stuck on the defense now in 1v2 tone. No util in hand, up against a Tour de Force and a Sova at 1 HP.
Yeah, and should be able to find the pick onto Adrenaline pretty easily. Oh, never mind. He's able to sidestep it, but now has to worry about the fact that it could get swung just like that. Who else? Cutler gets the ace. Seals the nail in the coffin. You know, we talk about that Viper Pit being extremely good to help get that plant down and play close quarters, but the thing is as soon as the pit goes down, Cutler has the entire site in his line of sight. And as a result, that A site just gets completely cracked open, and Cutler can just sit there with the sniper rifle and make it work. It almost worked to their detriment to take that Viper's Pit down. Of course, Diamond was just kind of, Cloric was just kind of spraying through to see what they could get with it. But unfortunately, it just allowed Cutler to just get activated, and it's another round for Native Black.
I've got your trail.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because, like you said, it almost worked against Chirac here, but Ultimately, Diamond connects with nothing. The Seekers are out, revealing positions in mid and by half wall. And so to capitalize on that, Michael Scarn tries to push up into elbow. Doesn't find anything, though, and it's a 5-man push from Native Black out onto the B site as Chirac hunker down towards the back site. Got Tone, and you got Knives from Michael Scarn. As you got Houston here, no flashes in hand, trying to wrap around the backside, and he's able to find one. Both Scarn and Tone have been eliminated. Now in a 4v3, Chirac needs to play a retake as the spike is about to go down in just a moment here.
Good 0 point coming out, being able to shut down utility for a second, but Whitmer is going to be able to get that down, and who else but Cutler? Finds the long-range frags, looking for another, but Cash is just a little bit quicker. Can't blame ping diff on a LAN this time around, so Diamond is going to be still on the back of site, but now the re-entry is going to happen 2v3.
Woo, Diamond, good shot in the back, 2-on-2, equalized, and Cash taking the lead for the team, spotted out by the recon backside. Adrenaline has a good idea and a good shot. Crosshair placement is money. No tap on the spike yet. There it is. He's gonna hit him with the jump peek. Ooh, and he realizes he's off the spike once again. Cash now at half on the spike, gets off of it. Adrenaline waiting for the tap, and there it is. The timing is so good from this guy. Native, 8-10.
Dang, honestly, I think if we just saw Cash stick the spike, he probably could have gotten away with the defuse.
Yes.
It was really just burning down the clock, and I'm going to be honest, it didn't even look like anybody could see what was happening there, but such a scrappy round between these two teams. Adrenaline doing a really good job of just playing back and playing so patiently. They had the numbers advantage and unfortunately lost that one out, so both these teams able to buy up. Who else but the Chambers got their operators in hands, but Chloric is going to just be on a Spectre. Here we go. It's 10-8 right now for Chloric Gaming, but Native Black are still definitely in this. And already they're tossing out utility to try and slow things down, but that isn't deterring Native Black at all.
Spotted out and gets out. Diamond realizes there's some aggression in the hallway, tries to shoot through the door because it is
not
penetrable, but doesn't connect for the kill. Lots of damage though, for sure. So that's gonna be a little bit of a problem for Whitmer. He does get healed up, no armor. Smoke out. No dash to follow up on it. They're waiting for any sort of util, any sort of giveaway so that they can get some info and try to entry. They're not giving anything to Native to work with. Chirac doing a great job of being patient now.
That's a lot of information just given away. The KO knife was able to detect 4 of the members. Michael Scarn already getting an advancement onto mid as well. Adrenaline faking the noise. You know, they're getting ready to get set up again, but I think Chirac know this. They've still got their eyes trained on it. Cash with the operator, and Houston ready with the fragment. The fragment going out to deny space. It's too late. They've already made it in.
Chloric is seeing God and not the game. That's unfortunate as Cash, though, from the back of Orange equalizes. Diamond, once again, 3-on-3. Houston, back Orange, finds another one. And now Morg stuck in a 1v3. Or rather, Tone stuck in a 1v3. Coming out through doors, finds one, but Cutler is good with the headshot. That is a nice 255 points of damage. 9-10. Native Black making this a 1-round game. We're in game 3, and things are getting spicy.
Wow, yeah, this is going so back and forth. It was looking like Native Black were going to be taking the commanding lead before Chirac just kind of rolled right over them. And now they're coming back into it. Native Black are going to have a bye, but Chirac are back onto a save. Tonho going for the judge. This indicates to me that they will be popping the Viper's Pit onto that B site, but it's going to be up to Chloric to try and stall out A for as long as possible. Meanwhile, Native Black, they're interested on this mid aggression. This is a new look from them. We haven't seen them push down mid proper. See if they can catch someone out, but Adrenaline finds Scarn right off the bat.
On Morg, a quick one as well. Native, this is exactly the opening they need to try and tie this up. Whitmer already taking so much space, and this quick aggression is going to pay off dividends because he's going to get info and still be able to get a kill. I don't think Diamond is ready for this push right here. Whitmer just waiting at the bottom of the staircase, playing this so well, not making a single noise as Houston loses his head. Chirac in a 2v4, finding a lot of great value on this eco. If they can find some more, it'll be even better.
Yeah, this is going to be the round that ties it up here. Tonho falling down. Yeah, it's too easy. Honestly, their post plant was good. Watching mid, taking that control, realizing that Chirac was going to be coming in from there. So it's all tied up now. This is going to be, this is the, as they say in Canada, the TSN turning point. Because the thing is no matter which team wins here, If Native Black are able to take this round, Chirac are going to be in a terrible position. Look at their economy right now. They are close to some of their ultimates, but it's still not going to be enough. The steamroll is it's just going to pick up more momentum. Meanwhile, if Chirac stabilize, Native Black are still going to be pretty comfortable. They have a lot of ultimates to work with, and so they're going to be good. This could be Native Black sealing the nail in the coffin, and it all starts off with this round.
Trying to hit the double updraft with spotting out Nest. Realizes that the Sova is playing up there, but doesn't actually see him at the end of the day. Whitmer taking his talents back over towards mid. That mid area of this map is so important to control too. Of course, tunnels and doors. Those are two callouts you're going to hear tons of if you've played any of this map.
Take flight.
Native Black, though, regrouping outside of A. Diamond, sending his drone in, spots one out. No rotates coming out from Chirac off the back of that info, though, as Whitmer pushes into the hallway. Diamond kind of ready for this, but is divided on attention between the bridge and the back as Whitmer drops down, finds a great drop shot onto Michael Scarn. Diamond caught with his pants down. Morg in a great spot, and Cash just can't get it on the cross.
And this is looking pretty good. It's going to be 2v5 on this retake. Whitmer coming up absolutely massive with the knives. And it does look like that this is going to be a save coming in for Chirac. They don't want to take this. They know that they're going to be at an economic disadvantage, which is going to be around 11. So they're going to just save their rifles. Cash looking to potentially pick up another kill here. He's able to get the back of Morg. Only one away from getting that tour de force as well. If they die, it could be bad, but Tonho actually. The back here, oh, spots out two, but Whitmer goes around. Tonho picks up two. Oh man, if they were closer to the spike, I'd say that this is a winnable scenario, but it's too late now.
Good stuff overall. That's about as good of an outcome as you could have expected for it to be. Native Black, though, taking the lead for the first time in quite some time. After winning a couple of rounds in a row here. 5 on the dot. Just looking for 2 more to close out this game and send Chirac back to the battlegrounds.
Yeah. And you know what? Their economy's looking a little bit thin. Cash still able to get that operator thanks to being able to save it over from the last round. They're able to buy those Vandals, but I don't imagine that they're going to have full utility in their pockets. They're going to be really looking at Cash to frag out in order to secure this round victory. And this could put Native Black on match point. You see that early recon dart coming out here, and Whitmer's already gotten so much damage onto Diamond. But this time, Michael Scarn will be holding an incredibly close angle and finds Morg right off the bat. Trying to find more, is able to pick up 2 here, make it a third. Michael Scarn might have actually just won this for the team, as Cutler does find Cash in the back.
It's a momentum flip if I've ever seen one. Cutler, though, doesn't want to let go of this game, doesn't want to let go of their tournament life, because that's what they're fighting for here. We're in the round 3. We're in game 3 of this best of 3 series. We're only a couple of rounds from everything collapsing as Cutler is just fighting for their chance in this tournament, and he's not going to let it go, man. 2v3. He's equalized 2 of the kills already.
Revealing area.
Spots 1. Cutler again at the door. He's good for a third, and he TP's behind Diamond. This could be catastrophic. Adrenaline if he gets a call out here onto the guy in shop. Cutler go massive, whiffs that one. Diamond finds one. He's unaware though. Cutler's right behind him. And now in 1v1, Chloric versus Cutler. It's at the top, and he's gonna be able to get the defuse, I think. No, there's
no time.
Oh
boy.
Oh my gosh, Cutler. 4 on the round, can't find the 5th, but does enough for his team alone in that situation. Cutler, 27 and 15. The next person on his team is 16 and 14. He is fighting, but of course, Michael Scarn making a case for himself in a great set there, finding 3 back to back to back. Beautifully done, but Cutler and co making it happen once again. 12 to 10 for a round for Native that I don't think once again should have been possible.
No, I definitely don't think so. And look at this. They're going to be trying to force it up as much as they can. They do have the Tour de Force, do have the Blade Storm. Still, this is do or die. It's extremely scary. A counter Tour de Force is coming out from Native Black as well. And this is just a full-on rush on the site. Whitmer leading the charge alongside Morg. The null command coming in. It's already scrappy.
Oh, Cash with a miss. Cutler connects. It's a 2. Oh, it's Rack down to one member. Diamond, what? Shots in a one-on-one now, and he could get the res. 11 HP to his name. Cutler, full health. One headshot from the Vandal is all it takes. Trying to bait out the kill on the res. Houston gonna take him out as he drops from his ultimate ability. Cutler going around the right side. Is Diamond aware? Oh, he whiffs on that operator shot. The Tour de Force will connect.
Who else?
Eventually, and Native Black. Good for 13. Good in the third game, and they're sending Chirac home as Native Black proceed in the bracket.
Yeah, look at that. We're getting the live camera feed. There's so many people watching that game, and for good reason. Down to the wire. And yet Native Black are able to win that one out. Who else but Cutler to really just clutch it up for the team. Coming out swinging with the operator plays. Unbelievable stuff coming in. We saw an ace happen on this round. You're seeing the replay right now. Cutler just so good with sniper rifles in his hand. Wow, what an exciting match there, Jim.
What an exciting match. And Cutler, you could sense the desperation out of this guy, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean it in a way that he's got something to prove here, right? Of course, we saw Cutler with a lot of tier 1 experience previously. It's been a minute since he's been on the scene in a big way. Signs a Native Black now in this roster. They're here to fight. After losing in that first game 13-5, they put up a show in the second game, taking it 15-13, and they fought all the way back, winning I don't even know how many rounds straight by the end of this game, but taking it over Chirac when it matters most. Cutler in that final round, finding 4 in a row to take it for the team.
Absolutely. So big congratulations to Native Black. They're going to be advancing in the bracket, and I do believe that this means that they're next up going to be facing E-Girl Fan Club in the quarterfinals, a team that we got to watch yesterday as well. Good to see that they're continuing their reign of dominance. The E-Girl Fan Club cannot be stopped. But, of course, we're going to have to see how that match comes up here. But this is going to conclude the Chirac versus Native Black. Congratulations to Native Black for being able to advance in the tournament, winning it 2-1 over Chirac Gang. Oh, man, Jim, what an excellent showcase we saw from both of these teams. Big congratulations, honestly, to Chirac. They really gave Native Black a run for their money, but unfortunately, they will be sent home. So, don't go anywhere. Man. We got more Valorant coming up for you. But before we do that, we got the bracket on screen for you. Perfect. Now you can see exactly what is happening here. We've got the quarterfinals all set up. The winner of, you can see all of these great teams moving forwards here. We still have quite a few pretty good ones, including Oxygen Academy, Zero Marksman Black, and of course Wet Rats, who defeated a pug team of pro Valorant players. So this bracket is still very spicy, and it's only going to get more spicy from here. But of course, if you want to get better at your game, then boy do I have a suggestion for you. Gamers around the world are becoming better, faster, and stronger after just a few sessions on Metafy. You're going to get trained by the best pro players in the world, and you're going to want to go and book a live session right now. Make sure to use promo code SCRIMS25 for 25% off. So if you want to get better, of course, you want a discount, because who doesn't love a good discount? Then make sure to use SCRIMS25 on Metafy. And just like that, that is going to wrap up this match. But don't go anywhere. We got more Valorant coming up for you as we advance our way now into the quarterfinals. Things are only going to get more intense from here, so don't go anywhere. We'll see you just after this break.
One of the reasons that I wanted this lesson with Super Ukuma is because I felt like I had reached kind of like a plateau with my gameplay.
I tend to teach more of a way of understanding the game, more than just, oh, you need to work on this, you need to work on that.
He showed me this diagram that was pretty simple, and it was kind of something that I was aware of instinctually, but when you kind of like visualize it, it helped me gain a deeper understanding of the game.
I've got to say, I've been having a lot of fun doing it. It's been very enriching, and it's helped me a bit. I've learned a few things doing coaching.
You should definitely try Metafy if you're looking to level up your game.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerd Street Valorant Chicago LAN for Summer Champs. It's getting spicy. We're advancing through the bracket. We are now into the quarterfinals. I almost said semifinals, but we would have missed an entire stage here. And a lot of the teams have been honestly just going hard. We've got the bracket in front of you right now. We just watched Native Black qualify and make their way up into the quarterfinals. They will be facing against E-Girl Fan Club. But before we move over there, we're going to be heading down to the bracket. We're actually going to be covering the Wet Rats versus the 4 Funners. And Jim, the Wet Rats, they've been pretty darn good. They were able to eliminate JetDiff, which had a lot of pretty notable players on their team. But now we got the map picks and bans coming in. I love the logo of the Wet Rats, by the way. It's literally just a rat that is very clearly wet.
I'm always a fan of it. You know, it's just fun. I love that. And of course, the other team, the 4 Funners, that's also fun, but they didn't choose a logo, which is not fun. Next time, choose a logo, guys. But Ascent and Haven, great maps. A little switch up for the decider on Split. And when we're looking at both of these teams, there are some familiar names that we're seeing on both sides here.
Yeah, take a look at the Wet Rats. Retro, Okeanos, Gucci, Critical, as well as ZK. Really big names coming into here, and now we understand why they were able to beat out JetDiff. The 4 Funners, though, this is going to be a good spot to kind of showcase what you can kind of do. You're coming up against this team that is really well rehearsed and honestly pretty well known. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to cover this game in the quarterfinals. It's going to be Ascent starting us out, map number 1. We've seen Ascent multiple times and times again, and we know why. It's such a classic Valorant map, so many angles, so well understood by both of these teams, and they've already locked in their agents.
You love to see it. It almost looks like a mirror. The Breach and the Sage gonna be the stickler here. Interesting. You know, the Sage, and it's funny that they're on A crew as well. You know, the Pittsburgh Knights, we saw them pull out the Sage on Ascent for one of the, if not the longest win streak in competitive Valorant history on this map. And so what they would do in their strategy is just completely on, you know, defense. They would wall off Catwalk entirely so that the only way to get onto A is through that initial choke. It was great at zoning people out, and they would stack on the B side and have someone mid as well. And just like that, they were able to just shut down so many great attacks. So I'm really excited to see the Sage here, see if they play that strategy, try something different, because, you know, there's lots of great wall positions on this map as well. The verticality on this is way different than what a lot of other maps have to offer. So I'm excited for it. And apart from that, if they beat JetDiff, you know these guys are cracked. And of course, just individually, you know, all of them are cracked. Let's see how well they work together as a team.
Absolutely, and actually I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of these players in real life on Wet Rats, because a lot of them came to the Toronto Valorant, and I was there in person kind of helping out with the production. And so these guys know how to play together already. They're friends in person, which means that, you know, the synergy is just going to be there. So they've put together this Puggy style team similar to JetDiff, but they beat JetDiff out. So I'm super excited to see these Wet Rats play. You know, obviously you got to highlight Okeanos, a little bit of a younger player, newer onto the scene, but has been absolutely just fragging out, making a name for himself, and is, you know what, if he takes this LAN, I think that's going to be a pretty good step in the right direction. So we're just going to be loading in here. One interesting pick that I am noticing is actually we're going to be seeing a Breach coming in from the 4 Funners. I don't know if I really agree with bringing a Breach onto this map. The Aftershock is pretty good at destroying a lot of utility for a KJ, but right now it doesn't look like the Wet Rats even want to bring that KJ out at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting prospect. One thing about Ascent, though, is that there are a lot of straight lines, right? And so every entryway is pretty much a dead-on perfect area for Breach to use his stun. So I can see the potential. However, as we've been seeing throughout the day today and yesterday, a lot of people just play really quick and really spread out across the map. So you might not even have the opportunity. You might not even get the chance to try and use that thing. So we're going to have to see. Of course, for all of you in the Twitch chat, we appreciate you tuning in to view your favorite teams. Let us know who you got winning this next match. Is it going to be the 4 Funners, or will it be the Wet Rats as we head into our second, or rather our first quarterfinals match of the day?
Oh, and so aggressive right off the bat, but Okeanos wins it out against Stunna. All the utility beams
Wow,
coming
wow.
through, but the Wet Rats just hold down mid. Now it's going to be the aggression coming through. This is this is ridiculous. What am I watching here, Jim?
That's correct. What am I watching here? It was just a clown fiesta in mid, and then Okeanos. How do you pronounce this correctly? I'm sorry.
Okeanos.
Okeanos. There we go. Okeanos. Finds 3 with that classic. Down to 26 HP. He does have the heals from his teammates, so Gucci helping him out, finding a headshot of his own. That's a quick first round for the Wet Rats, but if that's going to be the pace of this game for the rest of the series, I am ready.
Oh, yeah. This is... Wow. Strategy? Who needs that? Let's just run it down on a bit. It seemed like there was a little bit of a clash going in there. 4 Funners just decided to take the aggression and move things forwards. They even advanced out of that B side to add in additional pressure there. But yeah, once again, just being able to find those classic kills, it's huge, especially in the early parts of that round. And as a result, Wet Rats were just able to look pretty darn dominant. Now we're going to be moving into this next round. They're going to have the gun advantage. Critical immediately getting stunned out by the fault line, but no big deal. Nobody followed up on that fault line, so it was more or less just a cosmetic one.
Love cosmetics.
They're good.
Retro. Coach Joe gonna go down. Gucci, great spot there. Expecting someone in the smoke. Shiro waiting with the sheriff in market. And the tree push. It's a split onto A through tree and through main. Gucci. Oh, goes down to Stunna. Retro gets the trade and gets one more for his worries. 12 HP to his name. Wet Rats in a 4v1. Looking pretty good against 4 Funners who are on their eco. Of course, if you can get one or two more, that's great. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is like the Wet Rats are just kind of taking their time. You know, they're playing this a little bit more methodically, whereas the 4 Funners are just trying to throw their bodies in. Shiro, that was an unbelievable headshot, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Okeanos is going to clean that one up. And just like that, Wet Rats take 2 rounds in a row. They lost a couple of their members as a result, but probably not that bad. The 4 Funners have been really just pushing the issue, pushing into the Wet Rats, and you know what? It hasn't been working. Wet Rats have been doing a really good job of just kind of hanging back, taking their time, and as a result are able to capitalize and punish the aggression that the 4 Funners have been tossing onto them. So let's see how this one goes. It's already off to a pretty darn good start, but the Bladestorm going to be active for the Wet Rats. I imagine that it's going to get quite a bit of value, but otherwise only does have a shorty. Okeanos gets pinged up on it. Not going to matter too much, but is going to get gunned out of the air by Spoof.
That's unlucky. Dashes into the wall and doesn't work out for him there. Shiro got the angle. Is he expecting another one on top of that wall? 2, yes, with the pre-fire. It lets him know that I am aware, buddy. And 4 Funners with a strong opening to this round, putting up 3 quick ones as finally Retro returns with 1. And Spike is making its way towards A main. Stunna waiting for the jump up onto the double boxes here.
Yeah, I think Retro knows this as well. Not going to opt to do that, but finally the Spike is going to make its way up. The combo does go good, but oh, Retro hops up and Stun immediately ready for the punish. Whereas they were able to get the Spike down. Now it's just up to critical 1v4 scenario. They're all just topping down here, looking for at least 1 kill. Gets a couple of sprays out, is able to capitalize on one of them. Looking for Stunna next, gets a couple of bullets, pulls out the Sheriff, but Stunna shuts that one down. Just like that, 4 Funners able to get their first round on the board.
There was a world, too, where that was happening. Started it with a headshot, found 1 kill throughout the fray, but finally the 4 Funners put a round on the board, like you said, 1-2. And coming into this next one strong, this is going to be a bye round here for the Wet Rats. 4 Funners, kind of on a weird bye here. Their eco is not in the best spot, even though they did win that round that was on the bonus of the Wet Rats. So kind of to be expected here. As we head into the next one, though, Critical's got his Hunter's Fury ready to rock, and Shiro is just a point away from it. So there's a possibility for things to explode a little out of control here.
Yeah, Explode is a good way to tune that. Immediately, Paranoia is going to be traded back and forth. The Recon Bolt does go out here, but a Hunter's Fury pretty early on as Spoof finds the opening pick. Does get traded out, though. Oh, no. All right, this is already spicy, and the round's just kicked off.
3-on-3 here. Joe Up on catwalk. It's a great spot to be in. He's going to get the flank, the advantage here onto one, but ZK is there to trade it back. And now in a 1v2, Retro's got the spike with him pushing through tree. They're going to be able to plant for Funners. What do they do here in a 1v2? I'm not sure what their weapon situation is. Going for a pretty bold peek out on Heaven. I don't think they expect him to be this far out, and he finds one, but he doesn't have the info on ZK, who's in hell. Fakes the drop, gets the shot as well to cover the sound, but it's all a big ploy at the end of the day. ZK, however, cognizant of the fact that it's a fake, watching the bottom. This is tense. And the drop comes out. Not spotted ZK just yet. Taps the spike. Is going to go for half and is watching A main. Has no idea ZK is right behind him. So well played. Just quieter than the darkness itself. And 3-1 for the Wet Rats there.
Huge patience coming out from ZK at the end of the round there. And you know what? That round was a really interesting one to just kind of see happen because, you know, there was a lot of chaos that popped off at the start in that B site. Trades going back and forth. But it wasn't until the Wet Rats had a little bit more mid control that they were able to secure their way onto that A site and then play that post-plant positioning. I do love the idea of just slowing things down, taking it round by round, see what you can get that information, and then push in onto the site. It was such a good read onto the defense of where the 4 Funners were. So this time, though, Wet Rats are taking things a little bit slower. 4 Funners have quite a bit of guns, but Okeanos wins the first trade.
Oh, the PM too. Okay. Interesting. Feeling themselves a little bit, the Wet Rats, 3-1, currently in a 2-round lead. He's going to pick up the Vandal and get the shuttle that gun out of there and off the map. He is really just not letting them have a good time. Shiro, too, he's like, where's the weapon? He's like, where is it? God, his pants down, though.
Oh, man. Maybe feeling yourself just a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Retro ready to just shut that down just in case they tried to grab the gun. But now a Recon Bolt is going to give quite a bit of information. The Shock Dart actually comes in first.
Low main. I just realized his name was Low main too. It's a great name. Waiting with the fault line. Not gonna activate it just yet. Shiro got some util as well. Fault line activated. Strikes 1. The slow orbs are out. The smokes are out. Wet Rats on the attack. They're out onto the site. Shiro by himself with the frenzy finds one. And the flank, though, can he stay alive? Low main pushes CT, finds another one, and it's trades back and forth. It's a 2v2. Stunner can't pick up the gun in time, and he does with 20 HP, but he doesn't know there's someone right next to him. And now in a 1v1, weapons galore. Spike gets planted. We got a Phantom. We got a real fight on our hands here. Both people at full HP. Both have weapons. The Wet Rats, with a better peek there. Critical comes out on top, and 4 rounds on the board.
Jim, my job here is supposed to tell you what exactly happened that round, but I don't even know what happened that round. It seemed like it was just absolute mass chaos. So many smokes getting tossed onto that B site, and the players just going back and forth. I was going to critique the player coach Joe bringing a Bucky into the fray, but when you're playing in that level of close quarters combat, that is totally fine because you're going to just bump into someone and be like, oh, hey, you could have told me there was a Viper Spit set up on the point, and I would have believed you. As a matter of fact, I would actually argue you probably would have gotten more information if there was a Viper Spit, because there were stuns, there were flashes, there was smokes. It was an absolute slugfest happening on that B site, boiling it down just to a 1v1 with a couple of lucky timings just on the outside of some of those smokes. And as a result, the Wet Rats are able to take a 4-1 lead. But I'm going to be honest with you, Jim, it could have gone either way. As soon as those smokes went up, I was like, oh boy, here we go, strap in.
That's the reality of it, man. I really don't even know how it got so close. The 4 Funners did put up a pretty good fight with that eco, you know, just pistols and stuff. And so you saw Shiro hop into the fray with the frenzy, got in his face. He has no fear, which I appreciate him for. Good stuff. But coming into this next one, you know, 4 Funners will have some weapons. Wet Rats will also have weapons, having won the previous round. It'll be a good round, to say the least. And, of course, 4 Funners, lots of ultimates, almost 5 across the board.
Tour de force early, trying to get a little bit of information, potentially a pick, but isn't going to come up big. They just smoke it out instead. But this is the Wet Rats very favoring this A side hit. Stunner in the back line.
Waiting at dice. He doesn't even spot. He does spot out Okanos. Okanos. I am gonna mess that up for the rest of my life. Stunna finds 2 in the back of hell. Gucci though, good for 2 as well. It's a 3-on-3. It's equalized just as quickly as it really started here.
These rounds are just so explosive and fast. Looking for trade. Spook comes up with one.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. There's a second, and onto Garage. He's good for the 3rd. Beautifully done for 4 funners.
Wow, this is these are lightning fast engagements. These teams aren't letting up for a second. They've got their foot on the gas pedal, and they're trying to catch up to Vin Diesel at this rate. Because the fact of the matter is that these rounds are just flying by. They're so aggressive moving forwards there, and I love the confidence the Wet Rats are playing with. But the 4 funners, you know, Spoof with that tour de force really just made that one work out in their favor. Look at this. You know, Gucci came up big with being able to pick up a couple, but Spoof is so good, just holding it down, able to just find those picks so early on. And we're into this next round, and Retro immediately gets stunned up by the fault line.
Spoof. Oh, what? Wow. Retro goes for the wider peak, gets the better of Spoof and Low Main, and is about to pick up a 3rd, and I eat my words as Shiro takes not a point of damage and gets the return, and things are equalized once again. Shiro, Gucci, check your corners, brother. What was that? Critical now in dire straits with the Marshal in hands, and his teammate nowhere to be found. Making his way back from top mid, Critical aiming high and low, getting trolled so hard by this run. Shock Dart coming in, takes him up for some damage here. It's still a 3-on-2, but the Wet Rats are working with significantly less than what the 4 founders are working with.
You know what? The fact of the matter is this is a LAN, and I'm glad that they're having fun with this too, because I imagine both of these teams, this is, you know, as much as we do like this being as competitive as it is, at the end of the day, we want to make sure these players are having fun. And I'm sure, like, little moments like that, you know, you got to be shaking your head a little bit, just being like, oh, come on now. But it's all in good fun. And now the Wet Rat's not in a good position, but they might be able to get the spike down.
Yeah, Stunna in a great spot, though. He's in hell, and he's gone undetected so far. He finds one, knows the plant is going down by Jenny. Goes wide instead onto Critical, and Critical with a great shot. Hits the body, finds the kill, picks up the Vandal, but unfortunately loses his head in the process. That's going to be number 3 for 4 funners.
And they're slowly flying their way back up. Honestly, you could say gun diff there, but I think that they were doing a really good job of just catching the Wet Rats off guard. And that makes me wonder whether or not this is just kind of Wet Rats feeling a little bit too confident in themselves right now. They just need to cool off their heads and play things around. Retro did such an amazing job at the end of this round. Oh, great. We got the replay going here. You'll love to see it. Just put one bullet in there. Try and shoot it. You're not going to get any prizes today. 3rd time's a charm. Makes it happen. You'll love to see it.
It's like a man from the 1700s loading his gun for
Yes.
each bullet,
Ooh,
trying to shoot this damn drone. Yeah, literally. What is this thing? It's beautifully done, of course. Money on the side of 4 funners is a little more strong than the Wet Rats. Wow, the Wet Rats. 3-4, it's a tight game. And of course, this is only the first game in a best of 3 series here. So watching top mid now, Spoof up in hand. Okanos getting bold. The timing there not working out, and Okanos and the Chamber both miss.
Nice shot from Joe, though. Able to shut that down. Get that mid control back under the defending team. Right now, Wet Rats are having a really tough time trying to make their way on either of these sites. They've given up that mid control. Now they don't really know where to go. No matter which side they go on, I think they're going to have a pretty tough time. Smoke is going to be flying in here. Shiro didn't get any information, but Shiro's been doing a really good job holding down that B long. See how this one plays out as Wet Rats get ready to engage.
Clearing out util close. Shiro, good recon. This is going to catch them on the way out. Only sees one through the window. Gucci with the wall. Oh, ooh, advanced wall. I like that. That's the right way to do it. The Rolling Thunder comes out. They're not able to capitalize on it immediately because obviously that wall is right there, and ZK is watching it with the help of Gucci, who's picked up 3 on the round, and now Shiro back Boathouse goes down as well. And that's round number 5 for the Wet Rats.
Yeah, and once again, really want to capitalize on that wall right there. You could tell that this was the 4 funners ready to just take that site by storm. They were like, we got the thunder in our hands, time to make that shit clap. And unfortunately, a wall comes up. And suddenly they have to shoot the wall down before they can actually move in onto the site. And Gucci going up onto the wall was able to secure a couple of kills, make them doubt themselves for a second, and then that ultimate more or less just get put into the bucket. It gets completely wasted, and they're not able to do anything with it. So the Forefunners now onto a save round. As the Wet Rats, they're looking to secure their dominance. Stunna popping the knives, going out early here, but doesn't see Critical right on the side.
I was about to say, what did I just watch there? I was pretty confused for a moment as ZK picks up a second in mid, and the Wet Rats have already, in the first 20 seconds of this round, made it a 5v2. Yeah, correct. I'm sorry, I've ended the round as quickly as it started. That was a hodgepodge of attempts from Forefunners on that eco to make something happen. Unfortunately, they didn't make anything happen. Whatever, sometimes you just gotta give it a shot, right?
Absolutely, and you could just tell the Wet Rats were like, okay, they're going to be on an eco. So far, the Forefunners, when they're on that eco, they like to push out a bit more. They like to be a little bit more aggressive. They like to come up and say hi. And so as a result, you saw the Wet Rats playing a little bit slower, honestly. They had the spike all the way in their spawn just in case something went wrong. Or, you know what, honestly, they were just expecting to win the duels. And at the end of the day, they were able to win out those duels nice and fine, just holding the angles there. Big shout out to ZK for really just coming alive and being able to find people. But now Spoof has this operator and is watching down beat long. Could be deadly, and it is for Okeanos.
Rez coming out. Well done on that. But what's the value we're bringing? You know, when you want to use that res generally, you pick up some information, you pick up some space, something of the sorts. Unfortunately, we didn't get either of those things in Okeanos, dropping a little bit of HP here. It's been slowed down a lot by the Wet Rats. The spike itself is lurking around in mid. Could be a split onto B, or they could opt to go A, but Forefunners are getting kind of antsy. You can see the Jet and the Omen trying to make their way through. Omen just sends his paranoia into tree, clears those angles. Spoof is good for one in mid. That's beautiful. And the push comes out from the Wet Rats onto the B site and starts off quick for the Forerunners, and they're looking good so far with 5 kills on the round. Make that a 6th in total. An ace +1.
Well, actually not technically +1. And oh, look at that. We got the live floor there. What an absolute showcase of the operator abilities coming out from that chamber. That was unbelievably good. Just really clutching things up. And honestly, that's a player that you want to be watching out for on the Forefunner. Spoof is dirty with it. Yeah, we're getting the replay there. Completely just shuts things down. Just going to ham with the operator. Low main does pick up 1, which is why that wasn't necessarily an ace. Even though those 5 kills, there was a res that happened last round. Now, these teams still going fine. It's 6-4 for the Wet Rats. 2 more rounds in this half. And ZK goes for the fake TP.
Missed that shot. I love the noise the Forsaken operator makes, though. It's so clean. And Okeanos opens it up with a great pick on a Stunna. A 4-man, or rather, a 4-man group up outside of A main. They don't decide to push off of it and instead opt for the wall, looking over the smoke. Low main not expecting it at all. Great headshot from Okeanos, and once again, a third onto Garage. He's feeling himself, but just like that, he's going to whip all of his knives, which is a little unlucky. You know, this is the yin and yang of life.
Yeah, but honestly, that was just for style points. Now it's all up to Shiro. We've seen Shiro do pretty amazing things thus far, but I think that this might be a little bit of a too high mountain to climb. Okeanos sees the barrel, misses the shot, so Shiro gets 1. Shiro gets 2. I might have spoken too soon, looking for the other one. ZK poking and prodding, but it's going to be Gucci from the back with the knife in hand. Gets the kill there, and Shiro goes down. It's now 7-4.
You love to see it. A good knife on LAN, yo, that's always fun, you know?
They're having fun. That was to make up for the
definitely.
fact that Critical missed all those shots onto the drone earlier, you know?
Yeah, they both have a moment now. They can take those to their graves, you know, clip them and ship them.
Now, there's going to be the tour de force coming in for both of these teams. Padding out the gun difference. Honestly, not even padding out the gun differences. They just want to frag out. Honestly, good for them. This is going to be a very exciting matchup, very clearly. The dual snipers from both these teams coming in. It's going to be both Jets and both Chambers having that operator in hand, but no way. Joe finds Retro through the smoke.
Through the fire and flames. Wet Rats going for a boost here. Spotted out the gun. Lo Mein can't do anything about it, though. He's like pinging them. He's like, they're here, and they're coming onto the site quickly, going into the boat to get the switch. Shiro connects on one with the Hunter's Fury. ZK returns on a Lo Mein, and ZK at 6 HP. This could go either way. 4 funners on the retake, and a 3-on-3, and a 3-on-2 now. Stunna finds a quick one. This is crazy. This is a little crazy. Where is he going? He's going all the way into their spawn? That is a deep TP. Perhaps expecting him to be the main. They're going to use some of their util for 4 funners, but they don't expect him to be in spawn. He lets the op cross over. He gets smoked out. He might be able to get the step out here and find both of them. Oh no, Coach Joe is too aware, and Stunner returns as well for 5-7 on the half.
Oh man, that was honestly really close. There was an opportunity there. There was a universe, if you will, where they were able to just capitalize the kills and potentially shut it down, but the patience didn't work out that time. So like you said, Jim, 7-5 in the half. We're going to be throwing to a quick break before we get back with the second half of this map.
Welcome back, ladies and gents. We've got the second half of the first match of our quarterfinals between 4funners and the Wet Rats. Currently, the Wet Rats are leading 7-5, and they just flipped, so they'll be on the defense this time around, and the 4funners will be on the attack. We have been seeing some... It's been a roller coaster. Let's just leave it at that. It really has been a roller coaster. Been some great moments, been some hilarious moments, but all in all, it's been a great match so far. And like I said, it's the first match of this best of 3.
Yeah, no, this has been an exciting round so far for sure. You know, both these teams thriving off the LAN environment a little bit, kind of just having fun with things. And honestly, yeah, we love seeing really rehearsed Valorant, but you can just tell that both these teams excuse me, are just having a really good time. Whoa, I got so choked up over how much fun I've been having watching this map thus far. But yeah, excellent plays coming out from Shiro early on with that frenzy, but you could just tell the level of aggression and confidence that the Wet Rats are bringing in here. They're just kind of fragging out, just going in for it, holding things down, and just kind of having fun. But we have a quick little tech pause before these teams switch sides. But so far, the Wet Rats are leading 7-5.
Yeah, I love it. It was making you really emotional. I could tell, you know, really striking you deeply in the core.
Just choking me up, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad. You know, so far this tournament series, the entire thing have been close games, close sets all the way through. Really, the only match that we saw was kind of a stomp was that native game where they lost 13-5, but then they came back and won the entire series. So like at the end of the day, did it really matter? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they did such a good job, but honestly, it's been such a great competition. And of course, we always talk about just how awesome it is to be on LAN. The fact that we're on LAN in person after all this time, you know, is definitely an experience I've missed a lot. And so if you haven't experienced it yet, like my boy Marks, we got to get you out to one, man. We got to set something up. Marks, where are you located? In Toronto, right?
Yeah. I'm up in the Great White North, otherwise known as Toronto. It's not that far north, actually.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
But
Where,
yeah, you know, would love to see a LAN in person, but unfortunately, I might not be able to do so. But still, there's a bunch of Nerd Street ones that are going to be happening throughout the rest of the summer series. And now we're going to be back into things. Players are ready to go. It's 7-5, just like you said. The Forefunners are now going to be taking the attack, and they're going to be looking to push in onto this B site. The Wet Rats, noticeably, don't have a Killjoy. They've only got a Chamber. So let's see how they want to be doing it. But, oh, I might have spoken a little bit too soon, Jim. I've done what the kids call a caster curse.
yeah, you got your ankles broken by production rule.
Oh, no.
Got crossed.
Not the knees.
My ankles. No, yeah, it's been great so far. 5-7. Yeah. There's really no storyline between the two, but
yeah. And
I wasn't sure if he was talking to us. We were just talking to production real quick, trying to figure out what was going on the tech side of things. So of course, you know, they're working at the actual LAN to make sure everything is a-okay for all of the players. And it looks like things are good. We are heading into the second half on the pistol round here, and it looks like a quick push from the Forefunners out onto the B site at the switch. Switch has been activated and 2 people spotted out back. Okeanos not going to connect with any of those shots. Shiro and Spoof good for 2.
Yeah, that was actually very good. They got a lot of information, but Okeanos just not able to hold it down. There were so many people just coming through, and especially on a pistol round, that's when things are going to be going in your favor. Still, though, 2v4 on this retake. Spoof looking for it. This is the first shot.
Missed the first shot. ZK good for 1. And a 2v3. Ooh, nice headshot there. Not going to be enough to kill. And then through the floor finds another headshot. Retro and Coach Joe. Joe's down to 1 HP. Ooh, if he knew that, maybe he would pull out a classic Retro. Both one shot, but beautifully done. Finds 3 on the round, and that's the 8th for the Wet Rats. Well done.
Yeah, great round for them. It was, oh man, I mean, it looked like Forefunners had that down pat. They were so confident in their march onto the site and just kind of got themselves set up, and it was looking pretty darn good. But the Wet Rats, you know, it seemed like they were ready for all of these typical positions that you would play that post plant. And as a result, they were just able to swing around and capitalize on it. ZK really just turned it up that round in order to deny that flank, which would have been absolutely massive if the Forefunners got that one through. So now the Wet Rats, they win their second pistol round in this map. Got both pistols, and they're going to be buying up a little bit. But look at this. Forefunner is going to match them. Spectres in hand might catch the Wet Rats off guard.
Shockdar connects on a 2. Retro smoked out. Stunna out onto the site. Great stuff. Creates a lot of space. Clears it out. Spoof going to go find one as well. Stunna onto the site on the other side. Pincher maneuver is successful. Now in a 5v3 for Funners. All they got to do is hold on this time around. We were in a similar situation before, but can they repeat? Spoof finds one. Retro returns in a 4v2. ZK trying to get some shots through those paper walls. And Coach Joe's in a great spot. You always love the verticality of Omen, and he's using it well. Let's see if it pays off for him. Ooh, and ZK and Retro are both trained on it.
No way that Wet Rats get this again. Low main, last person left standing, does have the Spectre though.
Connects from afar and finds 2 back-to-back. Beautifully done for low main. That was an important round they had forced on that one. So the Forefunners bring it to 6-8, keeping it a 2-round game.
Yeah, and you say that they forced here. Very important round for them to do, but more or less, we're just going to be, you know, on the same buys between these two teams now. Each of them able to win one round. The aggression coming in from Forefunners, they're just running it through. They took a page out of Sonic the Hedgehog's book, and we're just like, hey, let's just make our way as quickly as possible onto site. And it really worked out for them, especially with those stingers. Able to take them by surprise, just takes over the site. Now they're going to be moving in here. ZK does have a judge, and that could be very punishing, especially with this fast aggression coming through. ZK looking for it, immediately gets stunna, and the wall is going to be coming up.
Beautifully done by Gucci. Great timing on that. And now ZK is able to reposition. He was in the smoke. Rather, he was nearsighted, and that wall gave him a lot of time to live. Gucci going to be taking that tag and taking a lot of the attention. Hopefully, ZK goes unnoticed here. At least that's what he's hoping. Retro watching the wall as well. There is 4 members or 4 funners in wine currently. So this is an exquisite play. It looks like they may try to destroy the wall and are taking their time and staying wary of the flank.
Yeah, and the thing is what do you call it? The Wet Rats haven't really started this flank. And so if they wanted to, the 4 funners would have a pretty good time just getting out onto the point. They're still anchoring that jet as well as the Sova onto that B site. But doesn't matter. 4 funners more interested in A. ZK might come up huge with this judge.
Shiro waiting on the dart. Retro's in a great spot here in garage. Low main. Dart going down. Shot out. Connects on a Shiro, and he's out of there. Beautifully done. ZK is still tucked in. Gucci, great peek. He's going to draw all the attention, and Joe is still waiting for ZK to peek. He's got an inkling of an idea that someone might be there. Spots him out. And he's gone.
Thank goodness for those TPs, but Spoof coming in from behind. Misses a shot into Gucci.
That's tough. You really got to hit those a lot quicker than that. And now Spoof left by his lonesome down to 30 HP. Got the TP set up, and he is out of there, baby.
Yeah, so able to stay alive, but still not a very good round for the 4 funners. Really got stalled out there, and that's why you want to bring a Sage to a map like this. If you know that they're coming, to set up the wall. And ZK really just held that down with the judge. And listen, it's as confident as you want to be just moving in onto a site. It's always hard when you're walking into a judge, because even though it's a close range weapon, can get a lot of damage into you long range as well. So let's see how things go. This is 4 funners back onto a save. We got some sheriffs here. Spoof is the only one carrying over the rifle from the last round. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be another A-site execute, but I imagine 4 funners will take their time a bit more here.
See how it plays out for real as ZK closes the gap, was about to step out of the fault line rather, and ended up getting stunned for his efforts, so that's unlucky. 3 rounds separate the 2 teams though in the first game of this best of 3 series. Stunna now trying to create value out of really nothing here. He's got the Marshall in hand, and this is the wall we were talking about, but the updraft over is good and forced to push off of it. So that entire catwalk area has now been denied.
Oh, well. Coming in on the flank. Oh, there we go. Oh, dear God. Thank you, Spoof. Thank you. That one was for us. We appreciate that.
The comedic timing was actually great. Just like the little moment of pause, and he steps in.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
We cursed it.
We really did. That's our bad. We apologize for that one in advance to all the viewers at home. But low main, able to take one. Just through the smoke, Pianos was able to find a couple there. Made it huge, and then Gucci just picked up the judge, fired through it. Made that one come alive, but lo and behold, Wet Rats are able to take yet another round. They're looking pretty commanding thus far in this half. It's going to be 2 rounds in a row, but of course they did win the first pistol round. And yeah, right now 4 funners, they got to start getting their momentum back into their sails. Unfortunately, if they don't start to figure it out, it's not going to be too good. We have another tech pause coming in here, but I wanted to just say, I think those Wet Rats are doing a really good job at stopping the 4 funners just come into any of the sites. We saw the explosive potential that they could bring to the table, especially on those first couple of rounds, but fact of the matter is they're trying to play around this sage wall that is constantly coming up on that A site, and it's just making it so much more painful for them to push in onto it. Needless to say, ZK with the judge around the corner isn't really helping either, but you can just tell that the Wet Rats, they're playing together, and as a result, they're just having a much easier time to get those trades, or not even trade, just find kills and win the duels. And so things are looking pretty darn good for the Wet Rats right now on this defense.
I'm excited for them. They seem to be confident in their play. But 6-10, 4 rounds, we've seen some nuttier things happen recently too. So can't count them out just yet. And it is a best of 3 as well. So they do have opportunity to run it back should they let go of the pace of this game specifically. But Wet Rats looking really comfortable overall. I did like what we were seeing initially from the Wet Rats in that they are trying to experiment with getting aggressive across the map, but Four Funners are kind of keen to it, right? They were waiting with 3 men inside of that smoke, which was kind of hilarious. And they're ready to fight back, but that round really just did not go their way whatsoever.
No, absolutely not. But regardless, we're going to be back into things yet again. Spoof going to have that tour de force online, pad out, make sure that they've all got rifles, are ready to just push things in and potentially win things out. Still though, Gucci right now is the top fragger. Gonna get a battle sage? Let's go. You'll love to see that happen. Those walls were really creative on the attack, and they're carrying it forwards to get a lot of value here on their defense. So let's see the engagement here. But Four Funners also do have this Rolling Thunder online as well.
Spread nicely across the map. The Wet Rats are going to use this Sage Wall, just completely block off Catwalk. It has been destroyed immediately, and Spoof finds one and Stunna finds another. They were kind of expecting that. I love that play.
Yeah, you do the Sage Wall that many times, and you just know where to look after that. But it's going to be easy for the Four Funners to just make their way onto this A site. Never mind, critical there. Able to take the spike down. Going to slow them down for just a second.
Aggression down mid paying off so they can get the deeper angle on Catwalk. Really well done. And now in a 3v3, we've got 3 ultimates on the side of Four Funners who are playing this post plant. And of course, you've got the Chamber ready to flank the flank, really. Coming into tree now. Here's one on that Sova. Concussed will go down. Okeanos comes off the angle just in time for Spoof to get through. Finds the frag onto Heaven. And now Retro in a 1v3 finds one. Has to train his eyes onto Garage as the Spoof is holding an off angle close, and he's good on the shot through the wall. Four Funners close it to 3 rounds, separating the 2 teams.
Dude, Four Funners are looking really darn good because of Spoof. I'm going to be honest with you. Spoof has been absolutely popping off. Look at that, 21 kills, 21 and 11 right now. Absolutely dominating the kills in this entire match. Next highest person has 17, and that's Retro on Wet Rats, but Spoof has just been absolutely popping off. And with that operator play, makes total sense to me. Consistently finding frags, making it look easy, and always winning it out, taking out some of the members of the Wet Rats. It's going to be an early fault line here, but Okeanos gets aggressive, able to find one, but not the other.
Really confident from Okeanos to hear the Omen TP and still go for the shot. I don't think they were expecting it, because naturally you'd freak out and run away. So Okeanos showing some great determination there on a 4-on-4 now. Four Funners, they've got weapons and they've got the jet knives, the Blade Storm active and ready to rock down mid. Keeping an eye on this market area is going to be important. Of course, they do hear the Chamber trademark. Make a noise in pizza. They scouted out wood. Hear the Chamber TP down a back boat and decide with those many clues that it's probably a better idea to take some more time here, draw out some more util, maybe let Jet progress through middle. They haven't spotted out the Omen though, so that's a variable they're going to have to account for.
Fault line coming in. Does get critical, but the Paranoia is pretty good for it. Gonna have an aftershock coming in, but there's gonna be a wall coming up. Stunna can't find the knives, has to back off.
30 seconds left.
Great wall there, denies Stunna on that mid push. They were cognizant of it. They knew they didn't have control there, and they knew that someone could be there. And now a 4-man rotate. Quick from the Four Funners. Down onto the A site. The plant is going on to Jenny, and Gucci with the Spectre in hand is gonna get clapped mid-air. Stunna, great shot.
Absolutely massive one. Shiro picks up critical as well. Retro, though, is able to find low main. 2v3 on this site retake. Stunna still has 5 knives.
Shiro tucked into this doorway. Retro waiting for someone to peek him on Jenny. Ooh, ZK! Great with the shorty at close range. And a 1v2 now. Spectre taking one out. And he's got full HP. It's possible, and it happens. 11 rounds on the board for the Wet Rats.
Wow, that was down to the wire. And honestly, good job for the Wet Rats, not even having full rifles, but making that one work out. Going to be able to walk away with a Vandal for their troubles as well. ZK really came in clutch for the team there. But really good plays coming in, honestly. It seemed like they wanted that B side. Four Funners were really committing to it, but then they knew when to just back off. And as a result, they were able to get that spike down. Still not the worst position because they do get the money from the plant, but still not the best because they did lose that round. Now Wet Runners have 4 rounds ahead of the Four Funners. If the Four Funners lose this one, it's going to be a tough recovery because that's going to put Wet Rats at map point. But Four Funners are going to be forced onto a save. This one's coming down to the wire.
Taking their time, playing a great default across the map. They're doubling up on mid from the Four Funners. And you can see the Wet Rats have 3 people. One on Wood, one on Market, and now that Jet rotating back over towards A as the Hunter's Fury across the map connects for the Four Funners. Gucci, res in hand though, as Critical trades it back. Stunna. Audio cues given. Gucci looking for the peek around the corner. Gonna get tagged up as Retro finds one all the way over onto A main. Or rather, B main. Yeah, there we go.
Swoop in, but down. And Okeanos, who else?
Oh.
Did he just 180 that?
Yeah, he 180'd it. And he was really low, so he just needed to hit at the body shot, you know. It would have been cooler if it was a headshot for show. But it was still, that was a 360. It's a 360 scoping, you know, doodad.
No scope required, honestly. That was... Jim, I am shocked that happened. We're going to get the replay on it. So let's see. Okeanos just pops out one, gets one headshot, looking for the next one. Goes in here, spins around, and finds it onto Stunna. You hate to see that if you are Four Funners, but you know Wet Rats are going to be feeling nice and confident coming in to this map point. It's a save coming in from the Four Funners. The Wet Rats going to be potentially trying to win this one out. Good recon bolt, though, gets a lot of info.
Okeanos has a Blade Storm ready to rock. Could flex. Just 2 flex in a 12-7 game. Stunna, smoke down. Dash not active just yet. Gucci goes down in a weird fight there. Joe comes out on top and gets quickly traded out by Critical. Hunter's Fury down. Spike Carrier has been killed on a main as ZK and Okeanos open up for 3 in a row.
How do they get the flank? What? No, that's the way that the attackers are supposed to come. Why did the defenders come from that side? That's ridiculous. I think the fact that they pushed out so far, they're able to just wrap all the way around and just collapse onto the A site because the members of Four Funners just decided to come in through main, which just allowed them to not check a main. Or sorry, they came in through mid. And so A main was completely unchecked, just allowing the 2 to walk in there. And this is not looking good. Spoof has to clutch this one up. Spoof, out of all the people, could do it, but you can't hit him through a wall when Critical has that Odin. Congratulations to the Wet Rats. They win out map number 1.
Beautifully done, and what a way to end that game. The Wet Rats looking really confident and definitely picking up steam as the game progressed. It was tighter at the beginning phases of it, but definitely as the game went on and on, the Wet Rats adding more and more style, more and more confidence to every single one of those shots. And if they can replicate that performance in game 2, it's going to be a quick one, man.
Oh, absolutely. You know that they were definitely feeling themselves towards the end of that round. But Jim, you know, they've really leveled up their game. That's for sure.
Yeah, they have leveled up their game. And if you are curious about leveling up your game, you should hop on a Medify because gamers around the world are becoming faster, better, and stronger after just a couple of sessions on Medify. Get trained by the best pro players in the world. You can book a live session right now. And get this, if you use promo code SCRIMS25, you'll get 25% off. That's our secret. Okay, don't tell anybody else. But Marks, it's been great.
You say on a live broadcast? Sorry.
It's okay. Me and the couple hundred people watching this is our secret.
Gotcha. I'm glad that I could be in on this too.
Yeah, Marks, you're one of the cool ones. You're
Thanks.
You're good. Yeah.
Appreciate that. But it is going to be the Wet Rats winning out map number 1 against Four Funners. And so don't go anywhere. We're going to be coming back with map number 2. Have a little quick commercial break, but let's see if the Wet Rats can continue their level of domination moving forwards. We'll catch you just after this.
Arslan Ash is a hero of mine. I was there when he won EVO, and it was a very exciting match between him and me, and I just really wanted to take the opportunity. Honestly, it was an honor. Arslan taught me to utilize all of my character's game states.
See, your strength of Elisa lies in the back dash, in the side step.
Yeah. One of the great things that he taught me is how to utilize my character's movement and to optimize damage.
Elisa down power 2 is very good. It's 16 frame and it's safe on low and sometimes it push high moves.
Arslan was very nice and very respectful. He was patient with me. With what he taught me, I can take my game to the next level. You should definitely try Medify if you're looking to level up your game.
I know you only show up for these tournaments for the ads. I recently partnered with DigitalOcean to help spread the word on their amazing software.
I think you mean their amazing web-based cloud computing service.
Okay, if you're a developer, then you know how incredibly hard it can be to get started.
Not true. DigitalOcean made their UI so simple you can start developing right away. Plus, they give you full access to their human support staff.
Easy to start, human support staff.
Don't forget, really transparent and affordable pricing.
Okay, let's keep the tournament going.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Nerd Street Chicago Valorant LAN or Summer Champs. It's myself, Mark Scassing, alongside Jim Basco, and we've got a pretty fun game on our hand here. Specifically, Wet Rats coming up against Four Funners, and this was a wild match here, Jim.
Wild is the correct word for it. It was all over the place. Stunna had some great moments, of course, in that same fight. We saw Gucci pick up 2 back-to-back, and then Spoof goes hard for 3. And there's been so many ups and downs, but honestly, it's been so much fun. Spoof, like you mentioned, ended the game with over 20 kills, picking up 3K after 3K, occasionally a 4K, and just these these moments, you know, classic LAN moments that will definitely get clipped. And of course, the Okeanos 360 body shot over towards the A side. Definitely gonna have to make this highlight reel, but it's been a fantastic time so far. Currently, the Wet Rats are in the lead. It was a pretty good showing from them. I think they ended that game 13-7, something of the sorts. And here we go. So good.
I love those sound effects that you made. You should work as a Foley artist as well. Just hoo hoo ha. But great stuff coming out from the Wet Rats. Looking just so clean with it. And now we're going to be going to their map pick. Where else? Haven. Seems like we're always getting the same maps over and over and over again, but there's a reason for that. A lot of teams are very comfortable with that one. And if we are going to be seeing that map number 3, then we will be going over to Bind, which is honestly kind of an unpopular pick amongst most teams.
Yeah, we really haven't seen all that much of it. Generally, it's been Icebox, it's been Split, but if teams go to Bind, there's a good chance they have some sort of strategy, right? I feel like Bind is one of the better maps to go to if you've got set executes.
Yes, 100%. Bind, known for its teleporters, but before we get ahead of ourselves, first we are going to be going back to Haven. So Haven, the wonderful, the classic, there are 3 bomb sites, many options for people to go into things, and one of the heroes that, or sorry, agents that we've been seeing brought into the mix consistently nowadays is Fade. And I'm hoping we get to see some pretty cool Fade plays coming in here, because you know that one of these teams, I would argue both of these teams are oozing with confidence coming into this match. This is definitely more of a let's have fun and just see who can win this one. And it's honestly just such a good time.
I'm excited to see what comes out here. Yeah, Bind, lots of opportunities. We may, you know, maybe we might get Yoru, you know, like this is a map where we know Yoru can be absolutely maniacal. So, perhaps.
I mean,
but,
someone has to be
I can keep
absolutely
wishing.
maniacal to pick Yoru, though.
I mean, yeah, if there's anybody, it's going to be either the Wet Rats or the Forefunners, you know, like, look at those names, bro.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
No, honestly, you know, all fun and games aside, I don't know why I said that. This is all fun and games anyways, but the Yoru pick would be fun, but of course, yeah, there's a lot of strategy. Sometimes people pull out Vipers. We've seen Nats popularize that double smoke composition on this map, and so while that's still popular, the double controller, double duelist is great on this map too, as well as double initiators. So really, the world is your oyster, and I'm excited to see what comps actually come out today.
Yeah, 100%. You know, once again, being on Haven, we see pretty standard things come out here. We're gonna expect a Jet, probably a Chamber as well, and then either an Omen or some sort of smoking agent, and then usually Sova, but once again, Fade kind of getting rotated in as well. But you know, Haven's one of those fun maps that you just can kind of go in and have fun, and this is honestly the map that you see the most amount of like site retakes, just because there are those 3 sites. Usually the defenders are willing to give one up and then just play site retake, and thus it's almost action all the time, because you see these teams consistently trying to just run in, get what they want, and then get out really quickly.
Yeah. I really like it though. At the end of the day, like I remember Bind initially was retconned as the Dust 2 of Valorant, but I gotta say, I think it's just because it looks like the desert. Like they really don't have much other similarities. Yeah, like Ascent, I feel like if anything has become the Dust 2, where it's like the de facto map for competitive Valorant. Like you said, Ascent and Haven are the 2 maps that we've been seeing time and time again. I hate myself for that. I'm sorry.
This time you did it. Honestly, to be fair, I feel like you do it more often than I do. So you know what? I'll take that dub. I need the dub.
You can take it, man. I'm just crying at the club right now, to be honest.
That is all good. But yeah, once again, this is happening and in Chicago, and it is live. And Nerd Street, for the Summer Champs, have a lot of online qualifiers that are going to be happening every single week. But of course, they are hosting these LAN events all throughout the summertime. And I think there are 3 left that are going to be popping up all around the United States. So good opportunities to, in addition to just playing in person, in my opinion, I think it'd be really cool to meet a lot of these players that you've been seeing their names. You know, you've been seeing them just kind of, you're aware of them in the general community of Valorant. And then this is just LANs are a great place for everyone to just kind of come together, have fun, and get to hang out with each other, right? Obviously, there is the tournament going on where you gotta pay attention and actually play the game. But also, too, you know, if you get eliminated early, it's not the worst thing in the world where you just go, oh, okay. But also, too, now I will just want to go cheer on this other team because, like, I know those guys and it's pretty cool. So LAN
Yeah,
environments
the energy
are fantastic.
is really tangible, and that's always the best thing. So as we head on into Haven now, it's really just echoing the same sentiment, right? On Ascent, we saw a pretty dominant showing from the Wet Rats. 13-7, I want to say, was the final score. Heading into Haven, we're going to expect... Honestly, I'm expecting Okeanos to pull off some more swag, because as a Jet player, with your blades and your updraft on this map, there are so many cool spots, and I think they're going to be going for some clips for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I just want to see one of these players just swag on another player here, because there were a couple of moments of that. Once again, you bring to light the whole 360 shot. You know, if players are going for that on the server, you know that this is just going to be a fun match to watch happen. And as a reminder, this is actually going to be the Wet Rats pick. So if the Wet Rats win this one, then they will be advancing to the semifinals. Whereas if they don't, then it's going to force out that map number 3, which is Bind. So we're going to have to see the 4 Funners bust something out here if they want to spin this one back around into their favor.
Yeah, going on to Haven, lots of options. Again, we talked about Fade, we talked about Chamber, potentially a Yoru. Lots of weird spots on this map. And the way we've been seeing it played recently is if it's not a fast push to A, it's a, slow CA with a person playing on the rotate in the middle of the map. So either way, at the end of the day, I hope everyone involved is having a great time. Going into the second map, you could tell that both of the teams were having fun in that first one. So hopefully the vibe continues and the energy is tangible on location. And if you're around in Chicago and if you wanted to join one of these events, this is probably one of the better ones to get to. If not, you can go check out the website for all the other stops along the way for the Summer Champs qualifiers. So lots of action coming to you all summer long. But with that, we're heading into the Champ Select, or rather the Agent Select, for the second map here. Get my games crossed up. Yeah.
All right, let's see what these teams will want to be bringing to the table. Which heroes they're going to be bringing out. Sorry, I'll stop. I don't mean to make fun of you more, Jim, but here we go. So it does look like Spoof is going to be potentially hovering over that Killjoy, which I'm going to be honest with you, I think the Chamber pick might be a little bit more impactful here. We saw how good Spoof was with that Operator in hand, honestly, even with the Headhunter. And just to go on to a Killjoy, generally speaking for Killjoys, you just kind of hang back, let your utility do the talking, and then you swoop in for the kills. Versus a Chamber where your utility is based around you being able to just control spaces and take these long sight lines. So I don't know how I feel about that, but otherwise, the rest of the team is going for a pretty standard spread, especially on the Wet Rats side.
Yeah. Nothing too crazy just yet, but I'm a fan of it. Crazy is not always good. Sometimes. But Joe locking in the Omen. Ooh, okay. All right.
I'm glad we were on the same page for that, Jim.
Yeah, good. Here we go. I'm glad. This is going to be fun.
Oh yeah, this is going to be a spicy match indeed. Interesting composition coming in actually for Funners playing on that defense. They are going to be bringing in the Breach, which I do think is pretty viable on this map, but I don't know that they're going to get as much value because Breach really just good at making sure that Killjoy's utility gets shut down, but the Wet Rats aren't going to be bringing that at all. They're honestly just kind of playing the frag potential style. They do have their smokes, they do have a little bit of flashes thanks to Gucci, but in general, their kits are just built to just go in and get those kills.
Yeah. I almost would have loved the Breach in addition to that Neon instead of the Sova, but I'm not the one making the compositions. I am very curious, though, as to what they have up their sleeve. Running a double duelist. We already know Okeanos likes playing fast. Gucci, like you mentioned earlier, was on that Sage, and he was fragging out. So, on a Neon, this is exciting. I've been playing a lot of Neon recently, just in my personal life, just because there must be something wrong with me. I'm not sure, but it's been fun. And maybe. And occasionally I'll hear like "Lentitayo" in my head, like while I'm trying to go to sleep. It's awful.
That's concerning.
Yeah, I'm picking up bits of Tagalog, so that's always good. Expanding my horizons is Gucci. Oh my god. Their classics just function differently. Great burst fire as Retro on the flank finds one to return. And now in a 2v4, things are dicey to say the least.
Oh, what? The chicken got a kill. Spoof's turret actually got the rest there. It was such an aggressive push from the Wet Rats, just so confident in themselves. Like we said earlier, you know, they're having fun right now, and they wanted to just run in there and just completely just destroy the four funners. But Spoof, you know, I kind of critiqued that Killjoy pick, but really worked out because Wet Rats played right into it. Especially on a pistol round, the turret is going to get a lot of good damage in on the team, especially as Spoof was able to stay alive and use the classic to capitalize on a couple of kills. Just like that, Spoof has a nice little 3K. They're gonna have rifles here, and Gucci gonna be buying a shorty, running in on B.
That's the way to do it, baby. Take the action to him. Gucci clearing out the space on B. And he's running through window, man. This guy doesn't care. He doesn't care. He stunned himself. He doesn't care about anything. What an awkward round. But the four funners are having a great time as Okeanos pulls up through window, whiffs 2 shots, and Joe shuts it down for a quick, flawless second round.
All right, Wet Rats, you gotta reel it back in just a little bit. This is, to be fair, that was just a pistol round. They were saving there, but they couldn't even find a single pick there. And like you said, Beauty just kind of just sliding in. Unfortunately, slides right into somebody's crosshairs, and the rest was more or less history. Got stunned up as well. You can't fire the shorty as quickly as a result of that one. Still, this is gonna be the round that could make it. They're able to buy up rifles this time. And let's see where they want to be putting pressure. That's twice now they've tried to just push it onto B. Not super successful. Sorry, the first round they did go on to C. But it looks like this time they're going to be going on that A site. They got to work on their team coordination just a little bit better as Stunna got really aggressive but couldn't find ZK. And it's a huge paranoia coming out.
Yeah, well. From ZK, the presence of mind to just TP away immediately. Like, what a move there. And now coming through, Okeanos gets concussed. Retro! Oh, thought he killed him and so looked away, but then had to snap back. That's a good one-way on the CT. However, nobody is there. Critical is good to plant.
I see. It's very fast executes coming in. Just trading things out. And just like that, four funners are on the back heel. They don't have their full weapons here. Joe only with a ghost, and they're coming in from all different angles. This is looking pretty good for the Wet Rat.
Quite the ratty play from low main. But ZK's got the read. Posted up on the flank. No big deal. Stunna at range with the Spectre. Yeah, there's just like no point in even shooting at that range with the Spectre, man. Oh, never mind. I was clearly wrong. Finds one, Retro trades him out, and that's good for the Wet Rats. 2-2.
Yeah, you don't expect to see the chamber being the one to enter in onto the site, but that one worked out, and Retro almost missed it. Almost missed it. And I think if Retro wasn't able to actually find that kill onto Shiro on the site, it could have been a completely different story. But the Wet Rats are able to stabilize themselves. They continue to have rifles in their hand, barely lost any of their members. And the four funners, this is going to be their opportunity to kind of come back into this. Spoof already has the lockdown online. That 3 rounds and the lockdown is already ready. One of the
disgusting.
Longest ultimates to charge as well. So this is actual insanity. But this is that fast gameplay already coming in here.
Gucci with the charge through into short is just running it down with Okeanos. Running as a 2-man squadron here. The concuss is good, but he concusses himself once again and is not good on the slide. Stunna, however, good for 2 on the defense. Beautifully done, shutting down those 2 duelists like it was nothing, and good for a 3rd on the slide out. Beautifully done. Wants to peek for more. He's feeling it. However, ZK quick to shut him down, and now in a 3-on-2. Shiro in a great spot here at short, down to 11 HP. He hasn't been cleared out. Critical though, aware on the peak, and they planted it in hell, so they're safe from short. Really well done. Now in a 2v2. Of course, the four funners do have the lockdown. They could use it here, but Spoof opting to hold on to it so far. Throwing a molly. Timmy has yet to be deployed. The lockdown is deployed now with 12 seconds on the clock for it to activate. How do they play this one out? Shock dart sent. One connects, and the second is good. It gets destroyed, and they are big chilling here. Spoof out of CT. Gonna get shut down by Critical and ZK in the smoke. Just waiting for Joe to exit, and his journey is short-lived as Critical shuts it down once again. And now the score is 2-2. Correction on that from earlier.
Oh my goodness. Those shock darts were absolutely key. It was looking like they had Wet Rats stuck. That's why you learn your lineups if you're a Sova player. Those 2 shock darts really just won them the round, if I'm being completely honest with you, because I don't think that they would have been able to escape the lockdown in time. especially too as they were just hoping on it. It could have just taken a pixel of a difference and it could have gone bad, but you know what? Critical, he gets those. And so Wet Rats are able to secure another round. This time they're looking at that C, but Spoof does have a Sheriff. Going to be walking up. Unconventional for a Killjoy to do this, but already Coach Joe is down. Spoof trades one out.
Not bad from the Rats. I mean, from the Four Funners, finds one on their eco. Rats trying to push up C long. Really afraid of low main. He's just got a deagle in his hand. You guys have a lot of util. Respectful. I like the respect, but I don't like how long it's taking them to try and push on. Now putting up the wall, charging in, past the concuss. Shiro outside the garage, completely blinded. Critical trades out in a 3v2 now. Wet Rats on the back. Now Stunna in a 1v2, down at half HP on wood. Just before he gets to Retro, cuts him off. Great shot there. Wet Rats take the lead.
Absolutely, and just like that, they're also able to get the spike down, solidifying their economy even more so. Honestly, really good fast lane that was used from Gucci. Really just cut that site in half, and on top of that too, denied any value from that guiding light. If Shiro got a couple of blinds out, I think it could have been a different story, especially with how Stunna has been playing lately. If they were blind for a little bit longer, Stunna could have walked in, easy 3k, shut down the round, and then Shiro would have been able to move in nice and easy. But because that fast lane was set up, Gucci more or less completely destroyed it, and off of that paranoia, they were able to capitalize on the kills. So great stuff coming in from the Wet Rats once again. And yeah, Gucci just moving things forward, already using the concusses, catches Spoof off guard, but goes right back into the Swarm Grenade as the Rolling Thunder comes through.
Rolling Thunder connects on a lot of them, but as soon as they get that kill, they are equally as fast on the escape. Wet Rats making their way up onto the side. Oh, what an awkward fight. Joe comes out on top, though, and then opts for the... What? He goes into the fast lane, gets one, and then gets knocked out, but he ties things up here. 3-3 for the Wet Rats and Four Funners now. Getting encapsulated from the backside. You can see the Jet just gets taken out by Retro, and now Retro in a great spot to potentially capitalize on some garage presence. Low main spotted. Oh, goes down to Okeanos. Nicely done. And now Shiro in a 1v3. Finds one. He's got some flashes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. I like the idea there. I think the timing was just a little bit too not in their favor, but Retro just really making that operator count. So many good shots. Just really just fragging out. And once again, top of the leaderboard right now with 6 kills for the Wet Rats. Meanwhile, Four Funners, you know, they're going to have to start to stabilize a little bit. It's this very fast pace the Wet Rats are bringing, and they're just not expecting it at all. And on top of that too, the Wet Rats are doing a really good job of checking their flanks, being able to shut down any potential pushes coming from behind. And so the Four Funners are having a really tough time stabilizing themselves. And as a result, they're back onto a save round yet again as Retro takes Spoof out.
Great crosshair placement, was just really immaculate. There's no way anyone peeking that would have survived. Retro, fantastic job. 4-2 for the Wet Rats on rounds. And they are going for a quick B plant and taking high ground control here.
Here we go, Critical just hanging out with that Odin. There's a flank coming in, but Shiro uses the Trailblazer, gets paranoid though, so not able to get any information whatsoever. Did spot the head of the Jet.
Yeah, spots at the brain. Critical is good for one, trying to laser him through the wall and just laying down the pressure. Well done from Critical. Wet Rats in a 5-in-1 position. Joe, Sheriff in hand, TP's out. Oh, wow, actually stays alive for long enough to complete the TP, but not before Retro scopes out his head and eliminates it. 5-2 for the Wet Rats. They are looking good once again.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this might just be the Four Funners getting caught up in the Wet Rats' level of aggression, because the Wet Rats are kind of just running in there, fragging out and having fun. And so the Four Funners, naturally, if your enemy's doing that, you're like, all right, we gotta match their energy. We gotta go in and outwin them in their own game. But I think that's actually working to their detriment right now. They're letting themselves get run over and trying to take these duels, but are just losing them out because the Wet Rats are doing a much better job at taking them. And as a result, you know, they're getting caught off time and time again, simply just like that as Okeanos gets the first kill.
Oh, great updraft. Oh, gets fully blinded. Shiro with a better flash. And a 4-on-4 now. Lots of ultimates on the side of the Wet Rats. Gucci is just a little bit of a crazy guy, you know. I just gotta put that out there. Like, have seen a lot of Neon play, but not exactly like his as Spoof. Great lurk here. Catches the rotate, finds 2, and absolutely decimates it. Gucci now down to 14 HP. Joe in a great vantage spot. Up on the high ground, finds 1. And with the last person down to 14 HP, the Wet Rats are looking to concede this round for Forerunners third.
Gucci walked out there, went, whoa, got a shot off and immediately tried to back off, but unfortunately ran a little bit too far. And so just like that, Four Funners are able to capitalize on their round, and that was really good. Spoof in a perfect position, had moved up so far onto that B site, and just saw them run by, just sprays it down and able to capitalize there. Joe as well, playing that high ground. Such good stuff coming out of the defensive positioning for Four Funners. Spoof, once again, the top of the team. Spoof has been doing so much work for the Four Funners. And Wet Rats, they lost a round, but they're not out of it yet. Their economy's still looking nice and healthy.
Droning out. Not spotting anything. Good stun. Fast lane activated. Dash coming out. Slide through, and he stuns himself.
Happens though time and time again. Doesn't matter. Okeanos though able to get 2 with the knives. A lot of ultimates coming out here, and now it's just gonna be the Wet Rats just dominating, stomping their way onto the site. Low main, good for 1, gets shut down, and just like that, the spike will go down and stun it in a 1v3 scenario.
Spike planted.
I like Stunna's movement a lot. You can almost tell he's playing with some confidence. That shot felt like it was gonna hit, but he goes down. The Wet Rats pick up number 6 here. Could still go to a 6-6 half. Could see a 9-3. Could go either way. The Four Funners are just having a lot of moments of greatness, and I just want to see them double down on it.
Absolutely. We saw the aggressive play. Unfortunately, Gucci, you keep on pointing it out, Jim, but Gucci keeps on stunning himself. And unfortunately, not able to get anything done with the overdrive as well. Just getting completely shut down, but if anything, serving as a distraction to allow the rest of the team to move in there. And Okeanos was able to capitalize off it. Did have that Blade Storm and really put the blades to work. Already, Storm Grenade popped.
Wow.
Spoof finds the head of Okeanos to start us off.
Yeah, fantastic fault line there, and Spoof catches another one just on the outside edge of that fast lane. Beautifully done, dropping down to 8 HP, but will still remain alive and does still have that lockdown in hand. That being noted, Four Funners are sending their jet back on over to A because we've got numbers. We just need to hold the sites, and we've got the round at this point.
They just got to be careful about this KJ utility here. Oh, yep, there we go. And it's going to be the Swarm Grenade going off too, but Critical doesn't care. Critical goes around. Little do they know the site is completely open. Low main. Lots one out. Can't find the kill.
Spoof with the third there. Still down at 14 HP. Hasn't even been healed by their Sky. And about to get caught out by ZK. Great shot. 2v3. Doable. Critical.
No
wow.
way.
Recovers and finds a headshot. Now in a 2-on-2.
30 seconds left.
Seekers are going to be active here. They're both coming in on the flank, possibly going through Garage. See how this goes. The Trailblazer might come out first from Shiro.
Dogging out. Concuss onto the site is good. Shock Dart connects for some damage. Stunna, though. Great dash out. Takes a lot of space. ZK in CT. How does he peek these? He gets blinded, and Stunna with the peek is going to be the 4th round for Four Funners.
Man, that was really good execute coming in from Four Funners. You know, unfortunately, they lost Spoof trying to go on that super long flank that we've seen time and time again. But just textbook play coming in from Shiro and Stunna there. You know, use the Trailblazer, get the information, get the stun out, and then use that jet, dash in, get control of the site, and the rest was history there. You could tell the Wet Rats just didn't even see that one coming. And so here we go. 4-6, like you said, 2 more rounds in this half. It is totally possible for Four Funners to force out that half 6-6. Let's see how this all goes. There's going to be rifles coming in from both these teams yet again, but Four Funners are down a little bit. They do have the lockdown available.
Spotted one out back plat. The fast lane is going to be good this time around. Connects for the stun. He was paranoid, so he opts not to go directly to him. But wow, positioning themselves even better this time. Instead of going directly through the fast lane, they go halfway through it and then break out to the sides and get the frags that they need. Low main returns from CT. Beautifully done. And now in a 3-on-4 retake. How do Four Funners play this?
Looks like they're going to be trying to set up a flank as well. Get their jet coming in on the back. Lo Mein finds Gucci through the wall. You can see that one happen. The Rolling Thunder does come in, but not before Critical finds one. Shiro is now on the site 2v2.
A Rolling Thunder doesn't connect on the Retro or ZK, who are both posted up in this cubby. And the stick could come out at this point. Gets back on the spike for the tap. Trying to bait out some presence. They're not buying it, though. They hear the footsteps, and they know. ZK with a great peek. 7 rounds on the board. 4 Funners down at 4.
Last round in the... Oh, they just get it before it goes off. Honestly, their economy is probably going to be stable enough, but they want to make sure that they can bring out those operators or Retro. Maybe give one to Okeanos as well. Probably not. Okeanos more than happy to play with that Phantom. But the 4 Funners are not looking good economically. They were really banking on winning that round, but as a result, they're going to be hurting coming into this next one. See, the way that Wet Rats have been able to win this is just completely overwhelm one of the sites. Catch Spoof off guard. If you let Spoof set up properly, he's going to punish the rest of the team. Fortunately, Wet Rats, they just swarm around, find such good positioning, and you can't look in every direction all at once, and it's going to be an easy pickup onto Spoof. Bladestorm now activated 4 Funners. This is where all the ultimates could come live.
Stunna pushed up. Oh, spots the head. But you need to be really accurate on the click timing for those knives. And in some situations, honestly, the Vandal is just better. Spraying out multiple bullets. Connects on the shot. Retro. What? The tree saved his life. Joe lived for a moment longer than he should have, but does ultimately go down.
Yeah. This is why we protect Mother Nature. Protects you from operator shots, but it doesn't matter because it looks like this round is all but over. Lo Mein dancing around. They know where he is, but Okeanos falls down as well. 12 HP left. The spike is still not down. Instead, they're opting to potentially get these frags. Critical goes out for it, but Critical is able to get it. And just like that, it's going to be 8-4 in the half, Jim.
Crazy. Well done from both teams. And on that, we're going to take a quick break for the half and be right back to get you the latest action when we return. What is poppin', ladies and gentlemen? We are back with the second half of this match between the 4 Funners and the Wet Rats, who are currently up 1 game in this best-of-3 series and are up 8-4 in this game specifically. We're in map number 2. We are on Haven, the good old trifecta of lanes. I'm your caster, Jim Basco, and of course I'm joined by Marks today. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. This has been a very exciting match to cast, honestly. You know, the Wet Rats are just so confident in their plays, and the 4 Funners have been having a little bit of issues trying to adapt here. Retro immediately finding a headshot onto Stunna to start us off is not how the 4 Funners wanted to play this half.
Not at all. Gucci. Realizing everything may not be Gucci as he's getting flamed on the default site. ZK, though, it's all been a bait for him on top plat as Spoof returns with the best classic in the game. However, it's not enough as the Wet Rats are too good on the site.
Yeah, and that's going to be yet another pistol round. Right now, the Wet Rats have been kind of dominating these pistol rounds, and I think it kind of comes down to the level of aggression that they've been playing with. Obviously, on those pistol rounds, utility becomes a little bit more important, just because you could really just stall things out and catch people off guard, but still, a great showcase from the Wet Rats. Last time, they won the pistol round in the half. The Four Funners decided to match them. They bought up Spectres as well, trying to outclass them. It doesn't look like that's going to be the case this time. They're opting to just keep their classics in hand, get that utility online, but they've left the spike below, just looking for frags on this round potentially.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say that. Wow, what did I just watch? I was like, Shiro's coming out of... What?
That's just, you know, winning your duels. And Stun is able to get one here, but Critical goes for the swing. Just like that, it's just up to Joe. Retro looking for it, waiting for a second. Oh no, okay, just finish that one up. Make him wait out. That's, if anyone's wondering, this is how the match has been going thus far. I honestly just having fun with it, and you'll love to see that type of thing happen. Just, you know, just have fun. And that's the name of the game, especially too when you're talking about a video game. But still, great stuff coming out from the Wet Rats. They did lose a couple there that they probably could have saved, but it's all good. They're going to be more than happy with where they're at right now. So the Four Funners, this is going to be their opportunity. They're going to be able to buy up here, but the Wet Rats have already hit double digits.
The rounds that Four Funners have won, too, there's like no rhyme or reason as to why they won those. I'm trying to look at the scoreboard and like put together some storyline here, but the Four Funners find one to open things up in round number 15. And maybe it's the opening that they need as Joe finds another one across the map. Stunna, stunned in mid. Retro, waiting in the smoke. Wants to dance with Timmy, but not really all that much. Gucci gonna be backing off on B.
Oh,
great
Retro
shots
finds
from
one.
Retro.
Okay,
He decides to spare. Whoa, Retro out of garage, good for one, and Okeanos on the flank from window, good for another. Just flipping it on its head once again. They were on their eco round.
Yeah, this is huge for Wet Rats. No matter how the outcome of this round goes, they've already achieved their mission. Gonna use the Swarm Grenade, cut Retro and Okeanos off as Joe comes from behind. Not expecting it at all, and that's just gonna be an easy cleanup. The Four Funners get that round in their favor, but once again, the Wet Rats have done more than enough damage onto the economy of the Four Funners. They lost 3 of their members just on that eco. As a result, the buys are going to be a little bit strange for Four Funners, while the Wet Rats, they're going to be more than comfortable to get those rifles in hand.
Good stuff all around. Good round from Four Funners. Great returns from Wet Rat. But, yeah. Gonna be full buys on this round. It is the round after the bonus, so... Here we go. 10-5, Wet Rats chilling right now. They need 3 more rounds to secure this victory. Okeanos getting flashed out, but not enough to get forced off the angle. Forces the peek, gets one on a spoof, flashes through, and Joe on the peek is good for 1. It's a 4-on-4. The A take is coming out as Critical drops down to 9 HP. What a flick on a stunner! You gotta give it to him. That was beautiful. 3-on-3 now. Retro on a site as Shiro finds another.
And now it's just 2v3 here. Excellent entry for Four Funners, despite their gun disadvantage there. A little bit of heroics, but Gucci coming in on the flank could be huge, but Low Main is expecting the swing. 1v3 now. ZK alone.
ZK spotted out. And 1v3, that is tough. What? Finds 2 on a spray control. That shouldn't have been possible with a smoke in hand. And he's got the TP. It's not going to be enough as player coach Joe comes out on top. But what a flick that was from ZK. Holy.
Jim, my heart is about to leave my body. I don't know how to explain that. Unbelievable things coming in here. A great opening pick onto that, and then Critical just with the flick. Honestly, I would have continued to spray into the smoke because I don't think it would have registered in my brain what just happened, but then ZK comes up huge with 2, almost tying it up, but this is going to be Wet Rats forced back onto a save. I think they're okay with that, though. Okeanos will have the Blade Storm activated. Retro with the Tour de Force. I imagine we're going to be seeing both of those ultimates active, and that's exactly the case.
Just can't believe it still, man. What a beautiful shot from both Critical and from ZK. Jump spotting, realizes there's some action there. Seekers are coming out. The Seekers are going to eat both the shock darts, which kind of sucks. The stuns forcing Stunna to fall back, and Gucci, I think he stunned himself there too. That was a little awkward. Stunna comes out on top, finds 2. ZK taking the heaven spot here as Okeanos tries to come through that smoke, and Stunna just bops him and says, "Not today!"
ZK up in heaven. Does have a sheriff, though. Might find a couple of heads. Sees Joe's head. Unable to click it just quite yet.
Last player standing.
Oh, Joe, good for one more on the ZK. Repositions, well done. Retro forced out of CT with that tour de force. Shoots between them, gets the reposition, gets the shot, and spoof recurrence for a 7 for 4 funners.
Here we go, 4 funners, 3 rounds away from potentially tying it up against the Wet Rats. Wet Rats only need 3 more, and they will be advancing to the semifinals. They did win map number 1. But yeah, now the Wet Rats are going to be heavily investing into this. They're going to force this one up. Retro, once again, going to have that operator in hand. Okeanos just with the Vandal. But 4 funners, they're sitting nice and pretty. They've got all of their Vandals in hands, and on top of that, too, quite a few ultimates. Unfortunately, last round was a pretty expensive one for the Wet Rats. They used both the Blade Storm and the Tour de Force to pad out the gun difference. But this time around, that lockdown could be pretty good for 4 funners.
Quick now up B, this fault line is going to put a damper on things, but the dash, even while concussed, you got to love the confidence from Stunna there as the aftershock connects on absolutely nothing. Critical tries to spam through, just puts up a little sad face for not connecting on anything there either. As the spike gets planted, it's a 5-on-5 as the clock ticks down. Killjoy's lockdown has been deployed.